This is Hialeah at Heroes Con NC. Checking out Comic Hall Crew.
3.
You're watching Comic Hall Crew.
Hey guys, it's Pal Tim here. We love comics and we're here with the Comic Hall Crew, baby. That's it. Number 1, the Comic Hall Crew coming towards you. And we're going to keep coming. And we're going to keep coming.
Ooh,
Until there ain't nothing left. Oh yeah!
Yep, we here. We are here. It is the Comic Hall Crew. After Dark with Hero. After Dark.
Yes, sir. Salute.
Everybody, how we doing this evening?
Man, doing fantastic. I look so stupid in that vignette, man. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
That's one of my favorite wrestlers, man, all time.
Oh my God, Macho Man was that dude, bro. Macho Man Randy Savage.
Hold on here. Let me get this lined up here.
But I'm good, man. I can't complain. It's Sunday evening, and we here. And we gonna get educated tonight by the comic historian. And I know,
we got a phone.
Hey man, I have myself. Why?
Yes,
No, it ain't.
Is it me?
I don't know.
I don't hear echo.
I hear it. I don't have no YouTube.
Hold on. Let me.
I don't have YouTube up either.
I don't have YouTube. You guys.
Me either.
My good.
Hey, from Brad. Yeah. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I think I'm trying to catch my reverb or the echo. Something.
Is it me?
I don't think it's you. Is it me?
No, I don't hear no.
I don't hear no echo from you either.
One, two.
All right.
Let me see what's going on. Oh, it can't be me.
But you echoing though. And I'm echoing too.
I hear you echoing.
This what I'm gonna do. Hold
on. Matt,
he's back now.
Matt about to play Matlock.
Am I echoing?
You're not echoing.
See you echoing to me though. Let me back out of couple.
Yes, one, two.
Yeah, I don't hear echo from you either.
What about now?
You sound good to me.
I get an echo on my end.
So everybody echoing?
I don't even hear any echoing. That's the crazy thing. I don't hear any at all.
Yeah, I don't hear nothing from you.
Chat, they saying
They say they hear from me?
They hear from. We all echo.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I see it right there. It says all y'all echoing. Fascinating.
Test one, two.
I hear echo then. All right,
turn that up. Oh, what's going on here?
Let me try something. I'm gonna turn my mic off real quick.
Test one, two. Yep. Rico. Yeah, can y'all hear me? Y'all hear me?
You perfect.
Yep, Rico, you the culprit, Rico. Go.
I'm the culprit.
Yep.
How about now?
Cut it off, Rico. Hit mute.
It's me?
Hit mute. Mute your mic. All right.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Yep, it's Rico.
Hello.
Rico, check your audio settings when you come into StreamYard. Excuse us, everybody. Technical difficulties. We didn't have these problems. We were talking in the back.
Sure it is.
Yeah, no, not at all.
The devil busy, child.
All right, can y'all hear me now?
I can.
Y'all still hear the echo?
I have faint echo in the back. Thank you for y'all patience in the chat. We appreciate it. Sorry if I'm mean mugging. I'm just hoping that this oh, Mr. Let said we're clear now.
Okay. So does that mean Rico mic is muted? Is your mic muted? Is that why we clear or?
Yeah, I think Rico might mute it.
But we appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope everyone had a wonderful
All
Sunday.
right, what about now?
Oh, I don't hear it.
There we go. Got it. Yep.
All right, we all aligned. Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
What you click?
He's in deep thought.
All right, what about now?
No, we good to go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait, no, wait, all right, let's stay here.
All right, let me put my headphones on. Let me see the headphones.
Okay, that might solve it, but I think it's probably something that you probably hit.
That mic probably, when you go to the settings, one probably hooked up to the mic and one probably hooked up to the laptop speakers, and that's probably what's.
Mm-hmm.
And they both need to be changed to the mic. That's probably what it is. But yo, salute for everybody sticking with us. Drop a comment below because we're gonna talk about it. The Cat movie. If you went to go see it, just let us know you seen it. Don't drop any spoilers yet because we're gonna talk about it. But if you still with us, just let us know if you went and checked out the new Captain America movie.
You'll never find. Is that better?
That's the 1, 2. That's perfect.
Yo. Yep.
Salute, JT Comic Book. Yes.
Another love quite like mine.
There you go. We in there.
Someone to love you like I do.
All right. Since you're in a good mood, we're gonna see how good a mood you're in just a second. If I can find it.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
Oh man, we having technical difficulty tonight. This short just ran out. Here we go. Let's bring it back. Try it one more time.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
But my prices are reasonable. What?
Oh, there it go. There.
Okay, what?
Wait. Hold on. Rick James high school yearbook. Somebody selling Rick James yearbook? I'm confused. Or a picture of him in the yearbook.
The yearbook.
Okay, but who signed it? Is it?
You and I.
It'd be a lot, girl.
Love them and leave them.
So it's his yearbook.
Yeah.
Bro.
Now, Matt, can you confirm if that's signed by? Was that an signed by Rick James? Excuse me.
This is an original 1964 yearbook from
Signed.
Bennett High, featuring the sophomore year of the famous musician Rick James.
Come on, man.
The yearbook includes photos and information about James as well as other students and events at the school. This is a great piece of memorabilia for fans of R&B and soul music.
Bro, nobody want Rick James yearbook, man. Really? When he was in the 6th grade, he wasn't even Rick James then. He was just a little boy.
Hey man, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I mean, somebody out there might want it. Because somebody might be that super fan that just loves Rick James. You know, everybody got one, so I'm pretty sure somebody.
Did you mean super freak?
I started to say that, but I steered away from it because it was just too obvious. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. $500. No.
Hey man,
Let her pigtails down on me.
So for the price of a carton of eggs, you can have Rick James. Sophomore year.
Next.
Yeah, for a carton of eggs and some milk.
Man,
All
that's
right.
expensive.
Man, how you stumble across that?
Told y'all, I had to go
First
look in the
of all,
back of the bowels.
when you deep dive like Matt do, that ain't nothing. You got to get through stuff like that to find the stuff he really get excited about.
bro. I mean, like, I would never thought of going to eBay and saying, "Hey, man, let me see what kind of if they got a yearbook for Rick James out here." You know what I'm saying?
Now, what we ought to do one day is do a search and see what's the most expensive yearbook ever sold on eBay.
That'd be interesting.
Very.
It's gotta be Rico.
Paulo?
What's up, Paulo, man?
All right. Next up,
Speaking of Rick James. Now, is it sealed? Is it sealed?
It says very good.
Okay, that is not sealed.
Nah, it's not still.
Okay.
And oddly enough, I watched some Dave Chappelle earlier today, the Real World skit.
Steve Juke, that man.
Yeah.
What you stabbed me for, man?
Right. Yeah, I had sex with Katie too. Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, bro. That is not no $225.31. Why?
Hold on. He said he sold 42.
He ain't telling the truth.
I mean, isn't that based on eBay records?
So
You can't
did he sell 42 at that price? I
Now,
guess
that's the question though. But that's the question. But I don't think that's something that you can change. I think that's something that's set up through eBay, that number. So the only way to do it is to check his listing and see what the last one sold for. That's insane.
Now I know physical media is becoming extinct, but $225 for a DVD is downright insanity.
There you go, Rico. You can go do reconnaissance. Let's find out.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's find out. Because again, if it's sealed, and I don't know how rare it is, I could probably see in the future it going for a price like that sealed. Because sealed VHS tapes, sealed DVDs, sealed CDs, sealed laser discs, sealed albums.
That's different. Sealed. That's different if it was sealed.
Right. It's going for crazy money. I don't know. I think there's Apollo Crews listing, y'all. Check and see.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Paul around here putting out some trickeration.
Now, I'll tell you something that I would consider paying a lofty amount for if somebody had all original episodes of In Living Color with musical guests on there. That would be something that I would
the whole
consider.
set all day.
Yes.
All day. Oh, yeah,
that would
all
be
day.
something I would consider
Yeah.
because to my knowledge, those DVDs don't include the musical guests.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Look at that to get the licensing.
I didn't know that. Wow.
That's like Beavis and Butthead.
Some of the musical guests are missing on the Chappelle show on the DVD.
It's the same thing with Beavis and Butthead. They took out like a lot of the show where they had music.
Licensing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because you basically selling their music.
Yep.
Son of shit. Oh my goodness.
Oh, they bugged out there.
Oh no.
Son of Shaft. Okay. Okay. 2,740 and 98 cents. Where you get 98 cents? Why you gotta add 98 cents to that?
Maybe I need odd numbers, man, to these.
Come on, man.
The blockade.
Like, bro. Regardless of whether we like the price or not, that person thought about it. You just don't come like 2,000. He's sitting out like 2,000. No, 3,800. No. 20,
Hold up, but
22.
hey, but
And they still charging for shipping?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like $74. It look like. Hold on, what is that? Could you blow that up?
I think it's 25. I think it's 24.
Okay, because my eyes are bad. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's still a lot, man. If you gonna charge somebody $2,700 for a record, man,
And 98 cents.
yeah,
Don't forget the 98 cents.
Man, that record got to be signed by everybody in Motown for me to even consider paying. I'm
Bro,
talking about all the
bro.
Jackson 5, Diana Ross. I need everybody.
No, bro. It needs to
signature
have
on it.
it needs to have Diana Ross lipstick on it, dog. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean her lipstick. And then we can talk. With her DNA.
That is crazy.
No Limit, right? No Limit Records is the seller.
Okay. That explains it.
No.
That explains it. Do I get a free Crocodile Dundee knife with it?
A boy knife.
You know, a lot of these seem like people that had conversations with people with junk, and they be like, "Oh, they bugging." They be like, "Oh, you can throw it on eBay and make some money."
Ain't even graded.
Hold on. I got something for that. Courtesy of Mr. Rico. Give me a second. This is what they relied upon right here, y'all.
There it is, the audacity of hope. There it is.
Audacity of hope.
Audacity. Look, man, it's hard out here in these streets, man. He work right now. He's working with the IRS. He's like, I got to figure out something. He's like, I might not have a job Monday. He's like,
that's bogus right there.
He's like, I need to.
$60 for an AOL internet disc. Now I will say, at some point, those probably will actually fetch a good bit
and
of money.
that looks sealed. That looks sealed.
It does look sealed. Because I mean,
yeah.
Go ahead, Rico. I'm sorry.
No, I there are people that spend significant money on specific types of blank tapes. Like even if they blank but sealed, they pay a pretty penny for them.
That's that album too, but that price is crazy.
Is it sealed? No, it's you.
That ain't sealed. No, that's
bro, come on.
Used, and it ain't got Stevie's signature on it. Like you got to give me something if you want 500.
Barry Gordy, Rockwell, somebody shoot.
Yeah, man.
What's up,
Stevie.
Donnie?
I got Stevie hairline. Stevie had a hairline then. Now I ain't gonna lie. That's that. I don't really have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't even have a problem with that price. $70 for that. Because let me tell you why. The original Fat Albert lunchbox is a very sought after lunchbox for collectors. Matter of fact, what's the guy that played Drac and
Batista. Dave Batista.
Batista. Yep. I see.
Yeah, he has one of the illest lunchbox collections, and one of his prized possessions is the original Fat Albert lunchbox. And so what happens is a lot of people that collect those lunchboxes, the cooler may not be in there, or it might be rusty, or the thermos. So I can see that being valuable if it needs to be added to a piece where it's missing. So I can kind of see that.
And the thermos looks like it's in great shape.
It's in great shape, yeah.
Yeah, let us see. Yeah, I was about to say, let us see them other picture.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would let that one slide. Personally, I agree.
Yeah.
with Rico.
I'm alright with that.
I wouldn't let that.
That one ain't sliding, no.
that move was terrible. Well, it ain't one terrible, but it was alright.
So that was a movie for its time though. Like if we watch that movie now, it's like, oh my gosh, what are we watching? But then it's like, okay, it's a Martin Lawrence movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Like what did you expect from Martin Lawrence going back in time, wherever it was, and playing a night? I mean, what did you expect to be? What did you expect? I thought it was alright movie. It was alright.
If you look above though, what the $6.50, $5.90. So Martin Lawrence must have touched it, or he got fingerprints or something on that. I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, and one sold. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, what's going on with these people?
Hey, man, that's right up your alley, buddy. You Axel Foley fan, though, bro.
I love Axel Foley, but I don't love him that much.
Golly, that's crazy.
Soundtrack record. He put that up when the new Beverly Hills Cop movie came up on Netflix. He thought he was gonna come up. He was like, man, I'm about to be rich. He's like, I'm about to get him, dog.
3,000. Man, what? I wonder what the thought process is of some of these people that put.
There's no thought process.
No, I ain't no thought process, man. I think
It's
sometimes.
hope and a prayer.
And you can tell the album being you because you see the indentation of the album outside the actual album cover.
Yeah. The one thing about eBay is it's filled with a lot of lottery dreams. Like people put stuff up there,
A lottery.
and they just put the number there, and they feel like, man, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. But it's like, and then they see something that sells for a crazy amount of money without understanding the context of it, and then they think,
Right.
oh, okay, I got something similar, so mine should be worth this amount, and they don't really understand. They didn't really do the research to figure out why a certain thing sold for a certain amount of money.
Oh, for sure. And we got to spin back around one time and dedicate an episode to greatest movie soundtracks because we got to talk about greatest movie soundtracks.
Put that on the list, yeah.
Jason's lyrics gonna be up there. Above the Rim
Rico.
is gonna be up there.
My favorite song off of Jason Lyric is "If Trouble Were Money."
Oh man, bro,
Mint
Jason.
Condition.
Yeah. Jason's lyrics.
Meteor
Above the
Man.
Rim. Meteor Man was a dope soundtrack. Oh,
We got
Boomerang
Boomerang.
was a nice soundtrack.
New Jack
man.
City.
New Jack City was a nice soundtrack, man.
House
Juice.
Party.
Jason's lyrics wasn't bad.
Nope.
Jason
Love
Lyric was-
Jones had some joints
Love
on it.
Jones had
House
some
Party.
joints.
Yep. House Party.
Yeah.
House Party 2 had some joints on it too.
Yeah.
Hey man, the '90s, bro.
Yeah,
especially
Boomerang
like,
is goated. 100%.
Yeah.
It was right, man. Like New Jersey Drive, Volume
Had
1.
some. Yep. Had joints on it.
Right. Yeah, we need to talk about that. Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Yeah, put that on the list. We'll do that one in March. That'd be
Yeah.
fun. All right. Last but not least,
Good God Almighty.
it's Fat Albert, man. It's sought after lunchbox. Rico. See, I knew you were gonna say that. That's why I had that one tucked away. I took that one. I said, Rico gonna say, oh, that was just sought after. I knew you were gonna say it. So I put it right at the bottom.
If you're willing to take a tetanus shot as soon as you open it,
You lying. Golly.
bro, that right there, bro. That's ugly right there, bro. That's some nasty work, dog.
Bro,
That's
they drug that from somewhere. They drug it.
yeah, man. That right there, man. That makes you wonder when did Fat Albert come out? Was it in the golden age? That is
So what was the original price of these at that time? Like what?
All right, what? 10, 15 bucks?
15,
yeah, I think
yeah.
about 10, 15 bucks. Cause I remember I used to always, my mom used to always get me those lunch boxes. Man, I had a bunch of them.
Right, you didn't.
I had
So
a
you
few of
missed
them, too.
out on thermoses then. You missed out on the thermoses then, and lunchboxes, all that.
No. So
No, we
I was about to say they had them, but not. My era was like Ninja Turtles and Care Bears and He-Man and
Transformers.
Transformers, G.I. Joe, WWF.
Yeah, okay. I'm about to tell my age. My lunch boxes were Bionic Man, Auto Man, Knight Rider.
Hold on, Rico. What you know about Cursor?
Oh, what?
Yeah, Auto Man, bro. Jokers don't remember Auto Man.
Man,
no
don't know
more.
about Auto Man, Dukes of Hazzard. What else, man?
Yeah, Care Bears is wild.
Knight Rider,
Yeah,
Wars?
Star Wars,
Star Wars.
yeah.
He-Man.
Face
He-Man.
1999. Yeah, I'm telling my age.
I
now.
was yeah, mine was way, yeah, but that's those lunch boxes we had. Yeah,
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar, yeah, crazy. Yeah, that right there, man. That's nasty work right there, man.
Very nasty. Literally.
That's nasty work, man. I've seen some people refurbish some Nikes, some Jordans look worse than that. So hey,
All right. CBSI top 10. Amazing Spider-Man 654 second print. Honorable mention, setting the all-time high of $3,100 in a CGC 98. And October 1 sold for $602.
What?
Wow. Wolverine 145 era variant, very hard to find. 9.6 green label sold for $8,988
When? I said a week ago?
a week ago.
Hold on. Somebody in 2025 bought
They sure
that
did.
comic. Okay. Hey, man.
They sure did. Probably Apollo. Oh shit. Number 10. Earth X number 12. Up 60%.
How much?
Hold on. $50.
Hey, you know what? They got that book over at Fanboys now in the Taliban. I saw it. And
Yeah.
the only why I didn't get it because I already got the book.
Hey man, you better go get that. Hey, you better Brad like, hey man, what you see that dude? You better go get that $50.
You know me, man. You know I ain't like
Say
that.
whatever Rick James yearbook, baby. Yeah, man.
Give it to me, baby. Temptation sing.
Yeah, but man, I just saw that book. When I go Thursday? No, Friday.
Earth X, bro. God.
It's in the dollar bin over there right now.
Yep. The Heroes of Galactus. That's what it is.
It's Shala Ball. You know, it's gonna be a female Silver Surfer, and that's the one that's gonna be in the Fantastic Four movie. That's why that's on the list. So
Ooh, I know them boys gonna be hot when that female Silver Surfer pop up.
Oh yeah, dude. It's gonna be DEI that boy. We know that's going woo woo. Shit.
Them boys gonna be on fire when she.
They gonna be 30 hot over that, man.
not realizing that she's existed
An
for
actual
probably
comic
about
book
10
character,
years. So you know,
Yeah.
it is what
Actual
it
comic
is.
character.
Yeah, I think she's just a precursor to
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think she's a
to
precursor.
Norman. Yeah, that's what I
Norman Rad.
think.
Yeah, I think.
But to be fair though, Silver Surfer is one of those guys. When he show up, you just want him to show up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I don't know, but I feel you, man. It's like
Magic number one Rivals. Cheapest books. A high sale of 50 cheapest books now are listed at $40.
I don't even know what some of these books going for now, man.
Man, that really ain't about nothing. I know those rival covers. If you get them and you can flip them fast. I know Storm was going for a little ticket, so
Storm
no
has surprised
surprise.
me. Storm has surprised me. I got to give it to that. I didn't think Storm, like I've never seen Storm books, you know, sell the way they sell. So that's shout out to Aurora Monroe. Shout out.
Aurora Monroe.
Mark Spears Monsters number 2. G-Man, if you're watching, this is up your alley.
He was talking about that on his live stream yesterday.
$42 for average sale, high hitting 60.
those books flip well. I
Yeah, I
flipped the MegaCon Mark Spears exclusive monsters. So those books is, if you can get $1 up out of them, get it while you can, or get you a great trade while you can. I typically try to go for trade first. If you know people ain't open to the trade, then you know I'm going where the market at.
Yeah.
Invincible number 61. Oh, season 3 is out already.
Yes, that book has been selling too.
Well, I got to watch that starting tomorrow. Shit, didn't know that. I
So,
didn't realize.
what's the significance of that book? I know it's a key.
Yeah, I think I don't know. That's one of the later issues. I got some of the earlier single digit issues.
I think this is when Conquest appears, but this is what they specking on. This is a spec book here. They specking on this. So
Talking about the old dude, the older Viltrumite.
I think it's another character. If I can remember, it's been years since I read that, so I have to go all the way back. But I think it's another character if I'm not mistaken. High sale of $160, 9.8 also. So excuse me, a raw of a high for $160 and 9.8 sold for $285. Captain America 25.
That book been moving. It's been moving, but unfortunately, it seems like it don't really have a peak in value. You can get that book for about $10, 9.8. I think maybe $180 to $100 on a 9.8. It ain't really peaking in value, just peaking in popularity just because of the movie and things of that nature. Still a cheap book. You shouldn't be paying no more than $10 raw for that book. Maybe $5, just depends on where you at.
Man,
All right.
I got about 20 of them. Y'all hit me up.
Yeah, I was like, boy, let me see this whole. I got about 7, 9 of them myself. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to get rid of them.
Hit me
Ready to come. If you want to, ready to get rid of them. Incredible Hulk 256. This is because Sabra was in the movie. This sold high sale of Ross of $60.
Really?
CGC 9.8 for $550.
Shoot, I got that book.
I need to go out to my storage unit.
Oh, I got that.
Yeah, I said I need to go out to my storage unit. We
No,
said
that's going on eBay tomorrow.
9.8, $500.
Shoot, prices are it's around $25 on average. A high raw sale.
And you said just for because who's Sabra?
Sabra, yeah.
What?
We gonna talk about it, but she wasn't like
Right.
You know.
Yeah, like a Dungeon Dragon. Like that's just.
Was that little tiny girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Sabra, the little girl,
okay.
the itty bitty lady in the movie.
She was kind of gangster.
Yeah, but she didn't really do nothing. But a couple of times she ran up that wall. But you know,
my wife was like, "Who's that little midget?"
yeah.
I'm sorry,
Man.
little people. Who is that little person? Oh man, y'all, I apologize. Little person.
Fantastic Four Annual number 6. We're back
That's
on
been
that.
moving.
We're back on that again.
Yeah. That's spec.
$125 raw
I got that one.
and
too,
7.0s are going for $300.
Who that?
7.0s are going for $300.
So okay, so I know that's Annihilus and that's also Richards. What's the dude? But is Annihilus showing up or something?
Spec.
For Nova.
For Annihilus?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really stuff.
That's pure spec. People jumping on that early.
So it done started again. I thought we were done with that. With that.
And let me tell you something, man. Y'all better be careful, man, because when I first saw Giancarlo Esposito like last year in photos, I said that's old boy, that's Nick Fury's brother. Ask anybody that I said that's Nick Fury's brother. What Sidewinder? I said that's who he is. I promise y'all. And then all the comic book news outlets said, "Oh no, that's GW Bridge." What did we say? What's the dude name?
GW Bridge, yeah.
I remember.
And I said, all right, y'all believe all you want. And who ended up being?
Sidewinder.
Ended up being Sidewinder. I said it from day one, and they came out saying, nah, "Look, man, y'all, I don't know, man. Y'all can take this spec all you want, man. You better buy some Bitcoin."
Number 3. Hulk number 1. Red Hulk. CGC 9.8. Well, excuse me, let me back up a little bit here. Raw sales averaging $60 with a high of $75. CGC 9.8 newsstand $885. And direct editions are going for $300. Dump while you can.
Yeah, definitely dumped that. That was a book I was never interested in. I've seen those a million times.
Number 2, Century number 1. 289% average price, $80 raw.
Isn't there a variant?
Yeah, there is a variant. I think there is a gold variant.
Yeah, cover variant. I sold my
Hot
variant.
one.
I sold my variant a while ago. I sold it on Comment Link.
I got mine for peanuts over at Second and Char. Peanuts. High sale, average price around $80 raw with a high sale of $100. CGC 98 $275.
Okay.
Number 1, Fantastic Four 49. This book, let me tell y'all something. This book was dirt cheap for the longest. Nobody wanted. Nobody was looking at it. No nothing. So this is gonna be interesting. So here we go. Despite similar volume sales, 20 plus sales again this week. You're probably asking how this made it up to the top. Well, considering last week's average sale was around $350, which is around you could have got about what you could have got this book. It soared to $890. More higher grades, including a raw sale of $1250.
Oh,
There was even a PGX 9.0, $3,800 for a PGX.
I wouldn't.
Well, you know what? You know what's crazy is the book should have already been expensive, but see, nobody want because this is that spec. Going back to spec again. And I kept saying to myself,
but I say this though, during the comic boom, everybody was buying this book, and it got so freaking expensive. I think what happened was people started overpaying, and then when it crashed, people was like, "I don't trust Marvel, and I don't trust this book." So I agree with you, man. This book got so cheap, and I think people like, I don't trust Marvel anymore, and I definitely don't trust this book because people were paying. This is a book a lot of people lost a lot of money on. I'm just keeping it a book. Like people was way overpaying for this book, but Galactus was in everybody's mind was going to be spec'd as the next the biggest of the biggest bads, and it never happened. And then Marvel just took a tank. And then the book took a tank with it. So,
and it's a dope cover, super dope cover, super iconic cover, great story. That should be where your investment lies alone. However, the movie portion is what it is with it. If I ever was to buy this book, I would get it 340 presentable copy raw. I wouldn't buy anything into it graded because I wouldn't care that much. So it's definitely a dope book to have though.
Folks, don't fall for the okey doke. Let me tell y'all something. And I talk to Matt, Larry, and others about this all the time. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how a movie can come out or a TV show can come out. You ain't care nothing about this book before the movie or the TV show come out. All of a sudden, you see Century and Thunderbolts trailer, and now you want to rush and go get it. I guess it's not for me to understand, but I will say this. I'm not a purveyor of speculation because I buy what I like, I buy what I love, I buy what I want. But I will say this, and it's ironic that I wore this cap. Y'all need to get on the train before they start announcing these folks in the MCU. Because if you think speculation is crazy now, speculation gonna be even crazier when these jokers show up in the MCU. I'm ahead of the game, y'all.
So let me ask y'all a question. And I'm gonna be honest and say I've been kind of out of the what's going on in comics. Like modern comics or comic news. Is speculation still a thing now? Okay.
Yeah,
right.
it's very much a thing.
Okay.
I kind of as far as my personal collection, I collect stories that I love, not speculation, different things of that nature. If there's a good flip on a book, again, if I'm at a con, there's a con exclusive, and there's a nice flip on that, I cop that. Other than that, I collect purely stories that I love. Some may not be as valuable, some may not be as, whatever. I just collect what I love, just like with Red Hawk. Not really an interest of mine.
Right.
Passed on that book. Even with the Fantastic Four 49, I see it around. It sold a little bit, but I had to read the stories first to be like, okay, this is a book worth having, but not having to where I'm trying to get rich off of it, or not having it because of spec. And I'll take it raw. If I don't get it raw, I'll leave it alone.
Okay. I will say this though. Oh, go ahead, Al. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead, Rico.
I was just gonna say this. I saw the Fantastic Four trailer. I've been hearing speculation and quote unquote potential news that T'Challa might get recasted. Now, I don't know how true it is. I will say this. No spoilers. The movie we might talk about today that came out, the end credit scene was so. With that said, if you want to, Marvel, if you listening, if you want to bring some excitement back into the industry in terms of pure hobbyists, and if it is true that you're going to bring back T'Challa, the dopest thing you can do after the end credit scene of that Fantastic Four movie is have the new T'Challa come out like he did in that cover of FF52. That would be so gangster. And just let the credit end. Whoop, just close. Just see him just lunging out.
Don't say nothing.
Don't say nothing. No, don't say a word. Just in credit scene, he lunges out, and everybody, the theater will erupt.
It'll get a great pop. It'll get a great pop.
It will erupt. I digress.
Let me say one more thing, Matt. Now, that little blurb that I just said, that's not for people that sell. Because, I mean, if you can sell a book to somebody and they willing to pay over a certain amount for it, then by all means. I'm talking from a comic collector's perspective. If there's a situation where you like X-Men, for example, and because it's already talked that the X-Men are going to be in the MCU, that's a given. So if you go get in front of the 8 ball, you might as well go ahead and start now.
Hey, hold on, Al.
Sure.
This show is brought to you by, sponsored by Al's X-Men cap. Go ahead.
That's right. It's a little bit dusty, but I'm proud of
it. Al has done this like 4 times. And by the way,
Priest, all I do sell coke, man. I don't do no violence. I don't mess with no fire. No guns.
Don't argue with me, man. I'm trying to give you a chance.
But you know what, though? Good looking out, man. I want my money tonight. But no, seriously, we all know on this panel, Fantastic Four, they got them out the way. The next big thing is going to be the X-Men.
Yeah.
So instead of sitting here looking at like speculation on who gonna show up, I mean, you might as well go ahead and just whatever keys that might be pertinent to speculation, go ahead and pick them up. X-Men #1, of course. Giant size X-Men, of course.
All right, wait till I get all mine, and then we'll let the.
I'm sorry, Brad.
Because see what happened last week when Rico was like, "Yeah, that piece of artwork, it was gone by time."
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
I was trying to get over there and get sorted out before I could even get over. I couldn't even pull it to the driveway.
My apologies, Brad. But I'm just, but y'all get what I'm saying, man.
No, I agree.
Apollo bought it.
He probably did. He probably bought 2 of them.
Now he trying to trade it for that Rick James yearbook though.
Yeah. He traded it.
But I will say this, Al, I agree with you 100%. And all you have to really do is follow the money.
Yeah.
Marvel sold when they were selling when they were going through bankruptcy years ago, when they were just licensing out IPs and selling. 20th Century Fox paid just several $1 million. I forget, there's like $5 to $10 million, some crazy number for X-Men. and they end up having to buy those Fantastic Four and X-Men properties back for like some odd billions of dollars. So they got to get an ROI now. They got to get a return on their investment.
Right.
And the only way for them to get a return on their investment is to start putting out X-Men movies and get that money back. So I agree with you 100%. Whether you believe it or not, just say, look, it's got to make money. It's got to make sense. It's got to make dollars, and it got to make sense. So they got to get an ROI.
Got to. And like I said, don't wait till the speculation happens, because speculation is just that, speculation. We've seen speculation that was way off the mark. Way off. So you don't go out.
X-Men 130,
Yep.
Dazzler.
Ooh.
I still should have sold mine too, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the book.
Well, I
Brad,
read that
even-
thing. I flipped that.
Man, I couldn't find my book fast enough.
Even to the point, Brad, the way they were doing virgin variants of Dazzler of
Taylor
what's her
Swift
name?
on Dazzler body.
Yeah. And she was nowhere to be seen in that movie. And what was the
Yeah.
other one, Matt, that we talked about? Or Mephisto and Iron Lad from Wanda, the Doctor Strange
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
I mean, speculation has always been off. Go with your gut. Just go out there, and if it's some books that you want, go ahead and get them before people start specking on whomever, and the price just shoot up. That's all I got to say.
I say this.
Hold on, Hypno Hustler. Remember when Hypno Hustlers people started specking on Hypno Hustler?
Yo,
I'm
that was
y'all
a crazy.
That was crazy.
That was a crazy one.
If anybody wants something to go get, you better go get your Luke Cage while it's little or nothing.
Yeah, those books are cheap.
You know, because I'm sure it was that's on the way back. And then
You
I'm
can
gonna say
you can get a 9.0 for a good price.
Yeah.
Like
I'm gonna
seriously,
say
that
this
book
too.
is cheap.
that Fantastic Four, like Rico said, was dirt cheap. I paid, I think, $250 for mine.
It fell
At
like
one point.
It fell.
And it was a
it fell off
4.5,
cliff.
4.5, something like that.
Ooh, yeah, that book fell off a cliff.
I mean, when I say it was cheap, you could just easily go pick up one.
Yeah.
So
People-
if you missed that boat, like
Yeah.
the gentleman saying, you see this stuff, go with what make the most sense.
Yeah.
Now you got that talking about getting the first appearance of Pace Pot Pete, which I've heard is actually going to be in the next more. Hey, hey, you laughing? You laughing? Al? You laughing? Al? I'm gonna knock your socks off. Knock your socks off. Al. He's going to be in the next season of Marvel Rivals. That boy go through the roof. Watch what I tell you.
Bro,
Pace Pot Pete.
that's a rolling joke we done had for a long time, man. Pace Pot Pete, bro. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see his first appearance shooting up because I mean, anything is possible nowadays.
It's
Man.
already expensive.
The Trapster.
That's
I definitely think with the Fantastic Four, to Rico's point, they have a wonderful opportunity to bring T'Challa back. I don't know if you guys read the Fantastic Four life story, where it takes them through the 60s, the 70s, 80s, and all of that. They kind of T'Challa plays a nice part in that whole story. If you haven't read it, it's a must read. Very great book. So T'Challa plays a good role in that as well. You can bring them back. But yeah, to Al's point, we're looking for Doom, X-Men. Hopefully T'Challa gets recast, and live action Miles Morales. Them are like the four that hopefully it carries Marvel into the future. And I'm gonna talk about this also as well, man. If T'Challa don't get recast, man, I don't know how much money I can give to the MCU. I don't know if I can keep going out and watching those movies and supporting those movies under the guise.
He's gonna get recasted. Now I'll say this: this is one book I believe, because I still feel like all these books got something baked in. Like there's money baked in FF52. There's money baked in all these books. The only book that I feel like there's not really anything baked in is Static One.
Oh yeah.
I feel like because those people that buy Static One are people that just love Milestone. These majority, for the most part, these are Milestone fans. And there hasn't been anything to create any real speculation.
Right.
As a matter of fact, there's been nothing to create any speculation. It's just hope. Like you got speculation and you got hope. So if this is the one book I really believe is so cheap. If you are a Static fan, Milestone fan, that's a book. If he ever shows up, that book can like 10x.
Yep.
Easy. And I think it could 10x, and when it capitulates, it might stay at around 7x, 6x. It won't go back down because there's only a few books everybody's gonna really go after. The money books, the platinum, of course, right? The platinum variant, the Mobius final issue. That everybody's gonna go after that one. I think the newsstand variant for number 1. And then they're gonna go after those crazy like rare covers, like the Lost Boys cover, the Condom cover. Those are gonna be the ones that's gonna just keep going up. So that's a book that I feel like no spec has really been applied to, and there's no money really baked into that book.
Every time I see him, I pick him up with a poly bag and all.
Oh yeah.
And salute to Tap Comic because he got the whole collection, the whole 7 issues of every one. So salute Tap, man. Salute Tap Comics.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna go ahead here. I'm not playing the intro tonight because we gotta redo the intro. We gotta put Rico in the intro. We gotta get the new intro lined up.
I don't get no intro.
I'll tell you what I'll do it for you.
This is my last show, man. I'm done. Forget next week, man. I'm not.
What the shit is this?
Look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Yeah, to the no. Hell to the no. To the no, no, no.
All right.
I mean, we got AI now. Y'all can easily put me in something. You know?
Right, man.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard.
All right, here you
I
go.
don't even get an intro.
For my boy Rico.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
We gonna get one with you in it, man.
You know, my favorite movie of all time is Die Hard 1. And
Welcome to the party, pal.
And there's a scene where John McCain is getting really, really, really fed up. Like, he's out there trying to save everybody. Feet filled with glass. He's pulling glass out of his feet. And Al trying to motivate him. He's like, look, man, hang in there. We love you. He said, man, I'm feeling pretty freaking unappreciated right now. So, just wanna...
Hey, we're gonna get you straight. I actually got an idea.
I was just messing with y'all, man. Y'all family, man. But let's get it popping, man. First of all, man, I appreciate y'all extending it to the day, man. But I'm really excited about this one. This one is probably my favorite. Even though we got a big one coming next week, but this is probably my favorite. So let's do a recap. The first week we brought you George Harriman and we brought you Vernon Grant. We even educated the people on understanding it was a black man that brought manga to the West. Like, what are we talking about? To America in terms of comics and comic narratives. And then the second week we brought you Ted Carroll and we did a juxtaposition between Ted Carroll and Joe Louis and and how that brought us Negro heroes and how we transcended from our local heroes like baseball players and football players to actually now capes and cows. So today we're gonna bring you civil rights. Civil rights. We're gonna do it. It's Black History Month, y'all. The cutting out DEIs. We gotta do it. We gotta do it, y'all. We gotta do civil rights tonight. So, but y'all gonna enjoy this, man. So, we're going to talk about Jackie Orms and Ted Shearer, two of my favorite comic creators, and how they created revolutionary characters, but they did it differently. And we're going to I'm going to show you how they did it. So let's go with it. So we're going to start with Jackie Orms. Jackie Orms, drawing a new future for black women in comics. She is actually one of the, in my opinion, now she's actually well written about. She's not someone that is going to be hard to find. There's a lot of books about her. You do a search. Matter of fact, when Google does those little cool little illustration things for certain, people, they've actually done one for Jackie Orms. But she's a trailblazing African-American woman and cartoonist. Orms broke barriers as the first African-American woman cartoonist to be nationally syndicated, paving the way for future generations of diverse comic creators. She was a creator of strong, positive black creators. Orms developed characters like Torchy Brown and Patty Joe that defy racial stereotypes, presenting intelligent, fashionable, and outspoken black women during a time of widespread negative portrayals. Social commentary through comics. Her work addressed pressing issues such as racism, sexism, and even environmental pollution, using humor and relatable characters to engage readers on important topics. Orms also created Patty Joe, one of the first upscale black dolls, extending her impact beyond comics, offering children an upscale black doll option. Now, watch this. I added some did you know facts. Did you know the FBI investigated Jackie Orms from 1948 to 1958 during the McCartney era due to her left-leaning content in her comic strips and cartoons? Her file totaled 287 pages, more extensive than Jackie Robinson, who only had 131 pages on file. Yes.
Quick question.
160.
Jackie Robinson had a dossier with the government?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely, bro.
You know that, brother?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They was watching folk back then, man.
Man, anybody that was disrupting the system,
The status quo.
they're watching you. You know what I'm saying?
And make sure you wasn't funding anything as well that was going towards disrupting the system.
Absolutely. So what we're gonna do in this one, I think you're gonna like this. So instead of doing one and going to another, we're gonna constantly go back and forth between these two people, because I'm gonna show you something fascinating about how both of these creators created what I identified as revolutionary characters, but they did it differently. They took two different approaches based on their own life experiences. So now we're gonna take a look at Ted Shear. Now, Ted Shear is absolutely one of my favorite comic book creators, comic strip creators of all time. Illustrating urban life with heart and humor. He was an innovative visual storyteller. Shearer's artistic style in Quincy, many of you probably know about Quincy, we're going to go through some of those strips today, was noted for his use of paint techniques and creative visual effects, setting a new standard for comic strip artistry. He also did subtle social commentary. Through Quincy, Shearer addressed social issues from a child's perspective, blending humor with thoughtful commentary on urban life and race relations. He was versatile with the broad impact. Before Quincy, Shearer had a successful 15-year career as an art director at a major advertising agency, bringing his diverse experiences to his groundbreaking comic work. He pioneered black representation in comics. Shearer's Quincy was one of the first mainstream comic strips to feature an African-American lead character, breaking new ground in comic representation during the 70s. Now, I got a did you know fact. Who knows who was actually the very first black lead character in comic strips? I got it at the bottom if you want to cheat. It was a comic strip that came out in 1968 called Dateline Danger.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah.
It featured a black character by the name of Danny Raven. So that was actually the very first time we saw a black African-American lead character in mainstream comic strips. Now let's get to their work. So let's look at some of their work. So Jackie Orms. So now we're going to talk about Torchy Brown. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at two characters, Torchy Brown and Quincy, and look at how both of them not only revolutionized comics, but they did it in unique ways based on each of their creators' life experiences. So Jackie Orms created Torchy Brown, tackling social issues with style. Torchy Brown first appeared in the Pittsburgh Courier on May 1st, 1937 in the strip Torchy Brown in Dixie to Harlem. The strip ended on April 30th, 1938, lasting about a year. It depicted Torchy's journey from Mississippi to Harlem. So it dealt with something similar to how we recognize like the Great Migration. Mirroring the Great Migration of many African Americans. Torchy portrayed a strong, independent black woman seeking adventure and love, breaking stereotypes of the time. Orms addressed contemporary issues such as racism, sexism, and environmental pollution, often using humor and relatable scenarios. The issue, although it was the strip, although it was canceled or ended in 1938, it was revived in 1950, but it was called Torchy and Heartbeats, running until September of 1954. This strip is most renowned for its final episode in 1954, where Torchy and her doctor boyfriend confronted racism and pollution. Now, we're going to show some. This was a very fascinating story. And what I love about what Torchy Brown did, Jackie Orms gave us a radical cop. And what I mean by that is she addressed some of the most, she addressed all the societal issues that were plaguing Black America, racism, all the different things we had to deal with. But she did it through a lens of class, elegance. Although she was like a singer, she was like a lounge singer. It was almost like a Lena Horne, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan type concept where she was elevated in style and beauty and the way she talked, the way she communicated. Very well written comic strip. You didn't have the stereotypes. You didn't have all the crazy stuff. So and then her boyfriend was a doctor. So she was showing things that we weren't seeing in our own communities, and we definitely weren't even seeing on TV at the time. So when I was a kid, when Cosby Show came out, my mind was blown. And if I'm not mistaken, I was like in the 80s. So she was giving us this type of content in the 50s. So that shows you how progressive she was in her thinking. The second installment of Torchy and Heartbeats included Torchy Togs. These were paper dolls featuring various outfits designed by Orms. Her comic strip reached over 1 million readers at a week at its peak, despite limited syndication to primary Black newspapers. So her newspaper, although she was the first, she was mostly being distributed amongst sister affiliates of the Pittsburgh Courier, as well as Black newspapers. So she really wasn't it really didn't really hit mainstream like people like We Pals did at first, eventually did, or even like Ted Shearer's Quincy did. So let's go to the next one. Now we're gonna look at some of her work.
Amazing artwork.
Amazing artwork. And if you see her style, everything she did was about class. The conversation she had, it was very elevated conversation. She made sure the way she depicted women was always with beauty, style, elegance, sophistication. Those things were very important to her. Now, she grew up it reflected her childhood. That's how she grew up. That's what she saw. And you'll see as we go further, she grew up in a very well-to-do family, very upper middle class family. Her dad owned not only a printing company, but also owned a movie theater. So that shows you that she was doing pretty well with her life.
Yeah.
Her art was imitating her life, and she wanted to make sure that even though we weren't seeing these things on television, we weren't seeing these things in the movies. As a matter of fact, everything that we were seeing in movies at that time ran antithetical to the type of content she was producing. She wanted to make sure that she was creating content that not only reflect elegant and class and intelligent Black representation, but she knew it existed because she came from that. That's how that was the environment that she came from. She thought it was very important that she depicted that. Now, this is where we get into the second installment, and this is where when it picked up with when she started really tackling a lot of social issues. She really started tackling a lot of things with racism. She really started tackling a lot of things with sexism and discrimination, but also started introducing us a new part of her. In the first installment of Torchy Brown, it was really about this young, black woman coming of age, wanting to become a singer and a star. But then when Torch and Heartbeats came, she was more mature. She was a young lady now. It was about romance. It was about relationships. It was about finding love. Many of these strips was having serious conversations about a black man and a black woman and black love. As a matter of fact, this issue, this particular reinstallment came out maybe several months after All Negro Romance. So they both came out in 1950. And this what makes this strip so important, is because that 1950 moment when we got Negro Romance, this was like now a part of that. It almost became a trend, a needed trend that we needed at that time to start seeing black love and black relationships. And she started bringing that. This was the episode that we talked about where not only it shows, it even showed levels of heroism. Her boyfriend was actually trying to save the community from this poisonous gas or something that had came out, and he was a doctor trying to not only solve the problem, but he actually did, and she was actually helping him. And matter of fact, when you read certain stories about Torchy Brown, you'll even show that she actually, in the second installment, she actually portrayed acts of heroism. Matter of fact, in certain commentaries, people will actually address her as a hero. For some of the things she did in terms of acts of heroism. But again, I commend her for really elevating the content, because not only did it show black love, but it also showed, a black man owning a clinic. These were things that was very important to her. She wanted to show black ownership. She wanted to show black relationships.
Yeah.
And so these things were very impactful at that time. Go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, I was agreeing with you in the dialogue. Just for the 50s is so forward in terms of black romance, like you said, black ownership, him owning a clinic. If you look up above, she's talking about, kind of like just a precursor to some of like the R&B. She's just like, a minute feels like an hour without you. So
right. And who that just placed in there said, they said his daughter did a school project when Jackie Owen was in February. So that's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. So absolute amazing trailblazer. So now we're going to do a juxtaposition. So we're going to get into Ted Shearer's Quincy. So we're going to talk about what.
Hey Rico, before we get to Ted, when you talk about Torchy, she's the reason that Friday Foster was on.
We got Friday Foster, bro. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, one of Aaron Magruder has mentioned that it was Torchy Brown that inspired him for Boondocks. So think about the lasting impression. And, we're going to show you the civil rights aspect to it. I'm going to do a juxtaposition with Torchy and Quincy and how they kind of line up with people like W.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington, kind of show how they kind of had some very similarities in their approach. But absolutely, you wouldn't have a Friday Foster without a Torchy Brown. A matter of fact, all right, I'll throw another one at you. Jill Gerard. If you look at Jill Gerard, who was a fashion designer, was a model. She was a model. But in those Millie the Model comics, they would always have these fashion design little splash pages where each one of them would kind of do their fashion shows. That is almost like a Torchy's like a type and shadow of what we end up seeing with Jill Gerard. And Jill Gerard is the first black lady of Marvel. Jill Gerard is the first black woman to ever have a recurring role in a Marvel comic, to be featured and have a recurring role in Marvel. So when you start talking about characters like, Jill Gerard, Friday Foster, Torchy Brown set the table for those type of characters and did it at such a high bar.
Quick question.
Yeah.
just going back to the Torchy artwork in the 30s, did that have any correlation or relation with Betty Boop by any chance?
Man, it's so funny you said, bro. So, all right. It's so funny you said that, man. All right, I don't know, but I've seen similarities. I'll go ahead and say this. One of the when I come up with ideas for some of these shows, I actually came up with an idea to do a public domain show. And what I was going to do, I'm so glad you said what you said. I thought about an idea of going through some of the most, in my opinion, some of the most valuable in terms of intrinsic value, historical intrinsic value, Black characters that we have in the public domain that I believe should be reimagined and brought back to life. We talked about earlier where we've seen some people do some things with Butterfly. We've even seen people play around with Lobo. But we have a lot of rich content. And the reason why I say we should consider this is because that what public domain is really for is to give the public something to scale, give the public a part of the IP that they've invested in over time, and say, okay, now what can you do with it? Now, of course, lately we've been doing horrible things like Pooh killing movies and Popeye killing movies, but the goal is to take these IPs and say, what else can you do with it? How can you, tell new stories and come up with bigger ideas and expand the property? And some people do a good job. For example, Lion King is nothing but Hamlet. It's basically taking a Hamlet story and creating Lion King. Right. So we see things like this all the time where they take public domain figures. So the reason why I like what you brought up was because, imagine somebody taking Torchy Brown and building a Betty Boop type brand, and doing something where you now creating, cosmetics, apparel. Like that's what you can do with a public domain. And watch this. You can make several changes and adaptations to it where you can not only utilize that public domain, but the smart people take public domains and they find ways to now be able to turn that into their own intellectual property. No different than what DC did with Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle, the original Blue Beetle, Dan Garrett, was actually a character that came out in the Golden Age that in the beginning, then was part of Charleston Comics, and then it changed into Ted Kord, and then what ended up happening was DC ended up buying the Ted Kord variation, then they ended up going in, with other iterations like, Jamie Reyes and different things like that. But now, if you go to USPTO.gov, DC owns the trademark to a public domain character. So even though if someone in the chat or in the community or whoever wanted to say, okay, I want to come out with a Blue Beetle comic, you can technically, but you got to be very careful. It's like you got to walk on ice because you have to make sure you start with the very, very earliest inception of Dan Garrett and go from there. You can't touch anything from Ted Kord or anything Jamie Reyes or anything that DC has their fingerprint on. But things like this is, in my opinion, it provides brand equity. And this is one of the things I really want Black creators, to start looking at. There's a reason why, comic books become valuable assets to movie studios and TV networks because the community exists. So once a comic book hits critical mass or a character or story hits critical mass, now it's easier for a movie or production company to say, look, they've done the heavy lifting. We don't have to come up with a new story, a new character, and hope people can buy into it. There's already a large community of followers that already enjoy these characters in the story. Let's option it and now take it to the big screen or take it to television. There's a reason for that because it holds a lot of brand equity. There's equity tied to that. And so these characters have brand equity. Lobo has brand equity. Butterfly has brand equity. There's a lot of characters that have brand equity. And I would like us as a community to start tapping into that and scaling these projects. All of the characters in all Negro comics have brand equity and they're all public domain. Why don't we have a Ace Harlem? You know what I'm saying? I know somebody's working on Lion Man now, which is cool, but Why don't we have somebody doing something with the due dillies? Like, we have so many great opportunities to scale that our people like Jackie and Orrin Evans and all these cats, they did all the heavy lifting for us. All we have to do is take the baton and run with it. So I'm glad you brought that up, man. But I was actually that was something I had in my notes, and if I did the other show. But I see the similarities. I really do, especially in the black and white, like especially here.
Yeah.
In the black, you see it.
Yep.
You absolutely 100% see it. So absolutely.
Hey, check this out here, Rico. You'll get a kick out of this.
What's that, man?
Patty
Wow.
Joe.
Patty Joe. Yep. And this is a Jackie Orms doll.
Yep.
This right here, what y'all looking at. And let me say something about this. I'm so glad you brought this up. Some people might look at this from two different ways. It depends on the perspective. You might have some people looking at it like, man, $235 is a lot of money. I will make an argument and say, whoever bought that got to steal.
A little low.
And the reason why they got to steal is because we're not talking about this character. We're not talking about Jackie Orms. We're not talking about Patty Joe. And Patty Joe was actually another comic strip she came up with. It was a comic strip called Patty Joe and Ginger, which was a whole other comic strip. And the reason why we're not going to talk about that today, because I want to focus on Torchy Brown and Quincy, but it just shows you how even today in 2025, there are people that still resonate with her IP. This is amazing, man. This is amazing. Fine, I didn't even see this.
I figured you like that.
Yeah, them some solid ideas. We're gonna rap later about putting something together because something just popped into my brain.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do that offline.
Yeah, Marvel. What's the character? Marvel's bringing a public domain character out. Another public, like right now, like everybody's doing it. If the big two are doing it, why can't we do it?
Yeah.
Like, why aren't we digging up these amazing relics that our forefathers literally handed to us? You know what I mean? And take these things. I mean, it's like a gift they gave us. That's how I look at it. You know, it's like they gave us a gift because let's be real. How many people could really be great caretakers of these like we can? Very few. And is going to treat it with the dignity and respect that we will, and make sure that we create something that can take their legacy on. And that's really what public domains is really all about at the end of the day. It's not about making a scary Popeye movie or a scary, Mickey Mouse
Winnie the Pooh,
or Winnie the Pooh movie. No, it's about saying
Steamboat Willie.
Right, exactly. So, but nah, man, I'm so glad you showed that doll, man. So this is Torchy Brown. So now let's talk about Quincy. Now I love Quincy. Quincy is one of my. I've said years ago that comic strips got me into comic books. I'm a comic strip head first, and I just love comic strips. And Quincy is one of my favorite comic strips of all time. He's been called Harlem's young philosopher, and the reason why I love Quincy because I could relate to Quincy. Quincy was like a 19-year-old kid, and he was in the inner city in Harlem. And he was being raised by his grandmother. You didn't see his mom, you didn't see his dad. His grandmother raised him, but it was a very, very strong network. The dynamic between him and his grandmother was not only funny, but it was absolutely powerful. The relationship they had. They would joke together, but she would discipline him. And then sometimes she would discipline him in a funny way. So you would see all sides of it. But you never felt as though there was something missing. But what Ted Shear wanted us to do was to evaluate and critically think through the strip and say, do we see anything missing? Is something missing? Should there be a nuclear family there? So, showing us that yes, we need to see the black father. We need to see the black mother with Quincy, but we also got to understand those things don't always exist. So when those things don't always exist, how do we display that? How do we portray that? And how do we do it and allow them to still find joy and love each other and be proud of who they are and love themselves and Ted did an amazing job at that. So I'm gonna go through some of his points. So Quincy debuted July 13, 1970, and ran all the way up to 1986. So it ran for about 16 years. It was created by Ted Shearer, who drew from his own experience growing up in Harlem. So just like Jackie Orm's, Jackie Orm's Torchy Brown was a literal reflection of her life. It was literally art imitating her life. It was the same for Ted Shearer. Quincy was a reflection of who he was. Ted Shearer was an immigrant who was raised by a widower whose stepfather was a waiter on a train. So he grew up understanding that sometimes homes might be broken, but we don't necessarily have to have a broken spirit. You know what I mean? Like we can grow up in a, I have this thing that I tell my kids all the time my daughters, when they argue, I say, look, argue, get it off your chest. I said, and then let it go, and then love on your sisters and love on your brother. Because one thing we're not going to have is a dysfunctional family. We can disagree, but we're not going to be dysfunctional. I said, there's a difference. We can disagree, but we're not going to be dysfunctional. And I think Ted Shearer did an amazing job at that. So the Quincy was set in Harlem, offering an authentic portrayal of urban life in African American life, focused on a 9 or 10-year-old boy being raised by his grandmother, blended humor with subtle social commentary on issues like poverty and racism, praised for his realistic depiction of inner city childhood without being preachy. And we're going to go back to that as well. At its peak, Quincy reached over 100 newspapers nationwide. So this comic was actually mainstream. It wasn't just through a network of newspapers and its sister companies. It was actually produced mainstream. It also inspired education materials, including comic books used in school reading programs. So a lot of Quincy books were actually used in schools for reading programs. The first Quincy book was a pocket-sized book that was published in 1972, and the comic strip came out like a year later. Now, he was known for his visual mastery. Shearer's artistic skills and attention to detail allowed him to create authentic and engaging depictions of Harlem, further enhancing the strip's social commentary. Now you're going to see a completely different setup. We saw Jackie Orms, and although she was very radical in her approach, dealing with some of the same exact things, racial injustices, disenfranchisement, marginalization, she did it from a different perspective. She did it because Torchy imitated her real life. Well, now you're looking at inner city life, which was a reflection of Ted Shearer. And what I love about Quincy was that Quincy was a young boy who came across like a man. He worked, he had a job, he helped pay bills, he helped take care of his grandmother, yet he still was a kid. You saw him as a kid. Many people in this group could probably relate to that. Maybe, I know I could. I was raised by a single mom. I was the man in the house majority of my life. I took care of my brothers and sisters. I raised my brothers and sisters. When I was a kid, I was helping my mom pay bills. So I could relate to Quincy. So when I was a kid reading Quincy, he spoke to me. Some of the things he was dealing with. So he dealt with Ted Shearer. I'm going to show you one of my favorite panels. He had a unique way of showing disparity through humor in a way where we get it, but some people may not. And I'm gonna show it to you right now, which is absolutely phenomenal. So one of the cool things about what Ted Shearer did was Quincy had a best friend. It was a white kid named Nichols. And what you're gonna see at the bottom, right here, I don't know if you can see my mouse. It's a kid named Lil Bro, and I'm gonna read it out. So Quincy's looking at Lil Bro. Lil Bro's walking up. He said, "Lil Bro, how come you're not wearing your shoes?" So Lil Bro says, "Oh, I overslept." And he says, "My brother got up first." And basically what Ted Shearer is saying in a humorous way is that this kid is poor. He's got brothers, and there's only one pair of shoes in the entire in the house. And whoever gets up first gets the shoes. It's almost like the running joke we had as kids when you have a big family. Whoever got to the table first got
The
four.
cereal first. Yeah.
Exactly. And but what he did was so fascinating was that he allowed Jackie was a little bit more in your face. He would use humor as a way to say, wait a minute, this kid don't have any shoes. And he has brothers that don't have any shoes. And they're all sharing the same pair of shoes without saying they don't have any shoes and without saying they're sharing the same pair of shoes. So there were these subtle, crazy nuances that he had a tendency of bringing in that may go over certain people's head, but he was really addressing these issues head on. And there's a quote that I'm going to bring up later that really showed why he took that approach. So now you see two unique comparisons between someone like Quincy, who is still revolutionary in his own way in terms of how Ted Shearer is bringing content, bringing social commentary, educating us on what's going on in inner cities, educating us on people dealing with poverty and lack, while at the same time he's doing it in a way that's more about humor and satire.
Yeah. Not only that, it's a great way to keep us connected, right? Because he has a white friend who's poor, no shoes. And that's kind of like one of those things where it's like, no matter who we are, what we are, we can connect on the fact that you may have shared this experience. I may have shared this experience. I'm friends with someone who shared that experience. So the sheer brilliance and intelligence in it alone, like you stated, using that humor, but yet these are real life Black American experience and white, whatever diaspora you from experiences.
So I'm going to skip a slide because you said something that you already tapped into. So I'm going to skip a slide. I'm going to go back to it. So because what you just said is literally in this slide. So what I did was, because both of them took a civil rights approach, I sat down with my daughter and I said, okay, let's look at their approaches. And if we were looking at, let's say, games that you have to really think and be, strategic about, chess, poker, different games like that, what would be Ted Shearer's strategy? And what we looked at, we said, based on his approach, he would have been a chess player. And let me show you how. And you're going to tap into some of the things you actually said. He played chess with social commentary. And he did it with subtle positioning. Shearer avoided preachiness. Instead placing his characters in authentic urban environments that spoke for themselves. He wanted the environment to speak for itself. Just like the kid that didn't have any shoes, he wanted the situation to explain it to the people. He didn't have to say, hey, I don't have any shoes. He wanted the reader to be like, let's have some compassion. This kid doesn't have any shoes. Yet, they're finding humor, they're laughing, they're having joy. I'm pretty sure a lot of us could relate to that. Before we kind of got into some of the more superficial things, it didn't really take a lot for us to be happy. Family was important. The small things, the subtle things was more important. And even the fact that you had what you had was sometimes more than enough. He played multiple. He put multiple pieces in play. Shearer used a diverse cast, including Quincy's white best friend Nichols, which is what you were alluding to represent various aspects of urban life. Now watch this. Nichols offered white readers a lens of compassion rather than criticism. By placing him there, what Ted Shearer wanted to do was say, by placing him there and also making him his best friend, readers are now looking at it. Now we're reading it through the lens of Quincy. But in moments like that, they're looking at it from the vantage point of Nichols. Understanding that Nichols is a part of that environment and understanding that Quincy is his best friend. Now what they have to do now is say, if I'm looking at it from the lens, from the vantage view of Nichols, how do I really understand or see what's going on with little bro when he doesn't have any shoes? You see what I'm saying? Because now they have to look at it through Nichols' lens, not through their own. So instead of critiquing it, it kind of forced them, at least he wanted to give them the opportunity to see it through that lens of compassion. He used patience and timing. Rather than direct confrontation, Shearer used humor and relatable situations to address serious topics like racism and poverty over time. He had very strategic moves. Quincy maintained an optimistic tone while addressing real-world issues, providing a nuanced portrayal of African-American life. A 9 or 10-year-old protagonist softened the impact of subtle critiques. So what he did was, Jackie being a grown woman, she could impose her will on certain situations. Because Torchy Brown was nothing to play with. Torchy Brown she was very classy, but she was very strong will. And that's what Jackie wanted. She wanted a character to be a black woman, to be strong, to be and delicate at the same time, right? To be not seen as a threat, but to be seen as someone not to play with at the same time. But Ted said, I want to create a character that if he's 9 years old, you don't see him as a threat. He's 9. What can he do to you? And we're using humor. But we're going to talk about the same things Jackie Orms is talking about. We're going to deal with the same issues, but we're going to do it through a 9 and 10-year-old. So I know you're not afraid of 9 and 10-year-old, especially right back then. You know what I'm saying? So he took advantage of that opportunity. And he used very calculated moves by focusing on everyday experience of urban children. Shearer normalized diverse representation in mainstream comics. This is a quote. He said, I try to place this 9-year-old and the other characters in an environment in which readers can see the conditions under which these individuals live. By including authentic drawings of an inner city neighborhood, I'm making it possible for the reader to come to his own conclusions. So Jackie didn't want you to come to a conclusion. And there's nothing wrong with that. Jackie wanted you to see what's going on. She wanted Torchy Brown to display and show some of the ills that's going on in the world and put it front and center in your face. Nothing wrong with that. Ted said, you should already know, unless you're blind. And if you're blind, and I know you're not blind, so the problem is that you're insensitive, right? You lack compassion. So what he was trying to do was bring a level of compassion through humor. Now let's go back to Jack. If y'all got any questions, y'all let me know if y'all got any questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull some up here, Rico.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
We got a little bit of Ted Shearer.
Ooh, man.
So Heritage, you ready? You ready?
Oh, yeah,
you ready?
Let's go.
What?
16. Insane, bro. Even in 2009, that's
2009, $16 for that, bro.
But again, this is why shows like this. Shout out to Comic Hall Crew. Shows like this is important because if we don't know, we don't know.
Yeah.
If we don't know, if we don't know, we don't know. These are literally hidden gems. Like I remember talking about Lil Calvin, probably around 2000. I don't know if on my IG page, probably at least around 2018, somewhere in that, like early. It wasn't a common character. Most people didn't know anything about it. And listen, someone introduced that character to me. Me digging and talking, having conversations, I learned about that character. When I started sharing that character, people started learning more about that character. When they started learning more about that character, began to build an interest in that character. Now, that's probably one of the more sought after comic books by black collectors. That book doesn't last on eBay long, like at all. It gets on and it sells for a nice ticket, even in poor condition on eBay. And it's because now when we know about something, we become exposed to something, we know what to look for. And this is why, again, shout out to these fellas at Comic Hall Crew for giving me an opportunity to share some of these things, because if we don't know about these, how are we going to be able to? Because these are the type of things that is $16 now, and like in 2009 when that bought, and next thing you know, it's going for $1,600. You know what I'm saying, or $800 or $900. And we could have gotten it at $16, or we could have gotten it at $100. We could have gotten it at $50.
Yeah,
and that's what I want us to do. I want us to learn about these hidden gems, and to be in fairness, the fact that Matt found that, even though it's listed in 2009, Jackie Orm's original work and Ted Shearer's work is hard to find. Like, it's some of the hardest work to find. Period. Especially if you're looking at original art. And I don't even go as far as Jackie Orm's. Her comic strips I don't mean original art comic strips, just old comic strips from Pittsburgh Courier that you can just find in old. Those are almost hard to find. Those are literally impossible to find. And Friday Foster comic strips are a little bit. I don't mean original art, because Friday Foster original art is also extremely difficult to find. Like Matt hit the jackpot about a year ago, got 2 pieces if I'm not mistaken, for little at a steal. But not only is her original art hard to find, her comic strips that come from the papers are becoming more and more popular, and people are buying these now constantly. I remember buying those for like, a lot for like $7. Now you're not gonna get those at that kind of price anymore. So when we learn about these characters and we get access to these, we now know what to look for, and we can become like, we can get in these because we're not specking on these. These are characters that we want, if we love and enjoy, we want to add to the collection. What's the likelihood of a Torchy Brown movie coming out? So we're not specking on it. You know what I'm saying? But these are hidden gems that are so rare that it provides a great opportunity for us to add to the collection. I think I might actually hit the thing. My bad, man. Oh, there we go. My bad. So now we talked about how Ted Sheeran played chess. Jackie played poker. And let me show
Fly
you
sister too. Fly sister. She looked real fly.
Oh man, let me tell you something. Jackie was the real deal. Jackie played poker. So I put a poker approach to social commentary. Now, she was about immediate action. Ted Sheeran was about saying, okay, I'm going to play the long game. I'm going to create this young character, let them grow in the hearts and minds of the readers, and we'll allow them to love the character. When they love the character, they understand the character. They understand the character, then they become less critical and they become more compassionate. Jackie was like, no, I want to show you all what's going on. So she was about immediate action. So Orms used her cartoons to address contemporary issues. Much like playing hands in poker, she responded to current events and societal struggles in real time. She took calculated risks. By tackling controversial topics like racism, sexism, and environmental concerns, Orms took calculated risks with her work, similar to betting in poker. She's known to bluff. Orms often use attractive, fashionable characters to draw readers in, then deliver sharp social commentary similar to a poker player's bluff. So she was very strategic. You didn't really see what was coming, which may be why the FBI was catching on, because maybe they were reading between the lines. You know, Jackie was using these beautiful imagery of classy women and classy scenes, but she's addressing some serious topics. And so you're drawn in by the elegance, you're drawn in by the artistry, but then it's going to hit you with a sharp blow, as opposed to Quincy. He's not throwing any sharp blows. He's just throwing little microaggressions at you. And hopefully the goal is, over time, it changes you. You see what I'm saying? High stakes. As the first African-American woman cartoonist, Orms faced significant challenges and risks in her career, making each of her moves high stakes. She had the ability to adapt. Throughout her career, Orms created diverse characters. We talked about some of her other characters earlier, and strips to address evolving social issues, showcasing her adaptivity. This poker-like approach allowed Orms to be responsive to current events, take calculated risks, and adapt her strategy as needed, all while working with the constraints of her time and medium. So this is something fun I wanted to do. This is the civil rights part. So I said, okay, let's look at civil rights. Let's look at Torchy and let's look at Quincy. How do we look at civil rights from this? So what I did was I looked at Orms' approach. I looked at her poker approach. I looked at her instant civil rights, her instant real-time messaging. And I looked at her and I said, okay, if I was to look at her from a civil rights vantage point, as well as her upbringing, I would say she would probably be more like a W.B. Du Bois. And for Sheeran, he would be more like a Booker T. Washington. Now, both are fine. I know some people like to pit them against each other. I refuse to do that. I think both are necessary. So what I did was I looked at I did a contrast and comparison between the two. So I'm going to read some of the things with them. So I put Orms and W.B. Du Bois Both focused on immediate impact through their work, addressing contemporary issues facing Black Americans. Orms used her cartoons to provide social commentary on segregation, housing discrimination, and education. Similarly, Du Bois used his writing and activism to directly confront racial injustice and promote civil rights. Both came from relatively privileged backgrounds. Orm's father owned a printing business and a movie theater, while Du Bois was the first African American to receive a PhD from Harvard. This background likely influenced their perspectives and approaches to addressing racial issues. While their privileged backgrounds may have sharpened their perspectives, it's reasonable to suggest that both individuals externalized racism more than figures like Ted Shear or Booker T. Washington, who internalized it due to their struggle to escape poverty. Shear was born in Jamaica in 1919 and immigrated to Harlem as an infant. Grew up in Harlem during the Harlem Renaissance of the 1920s and 30s. Shear was raised by a widowed mother, and they were not well off financially. A very similar reflection to his character Quincy, who was raised by his grandmother. So as you see, Jackie's character, Torchy Brown, was a clear reflection of her life, just like Ted Shear's Quincy was. They both drew from their own life experience, but they used those experiences to still deal, because at the end of the day, whether you're well off, whether you're poor, you're still Black. You're still dealing with injustices. You're still dealing with racism. But the perspective changes, and their approach to their artistry changes. And that's why I say I think Jackie externalized it, because I think she was more, maybe she was looking at it, and although she grew up in a well-to-do background, probably upper middle class for that time, maybe in the upper class at that time in terms of Black people, I think she was looking at those that didn't have what she had, and still having to deal with what she had to deal with, being a Black woman trailblazer in a white male dominated industry. So just because she grew up in a well-to-do background doesn't mean she was absolved of any of the things that even Ted Shear or anyone else was had to deal with. Similar to Booker T. Washington, a former slave, Shear, whose stepfather was a railroad waiter, internalized not only racism but also poverty and dysfunction. This connection allowed him to authentically depict the everyday lives of children in the inner city neighborhood, highlighting their joys and challenges without excessive sentimentality. Both Shear and Orms imitated their lives and reflected their desire for change and acceptance. Rather than debating which approach was better, we should appreciate their willingness to be transparent through their comic strips. Regardless of their methods, both were essential and successful in their creative execution. Any questions?
No, it's just, man, just kind of learning about these two, because this is my first time hearing about it. Just kind of learning about these two, it really kind of sparked some ideas for me. But the number one thing and main takeaway is how groundbreaking the social commentary is, the artwork is at the time of it was, while it was going on. And you contrasting it two, that was a perfect idea based upon their social backgrounds and things of that nature. So that was a great idea.
Yeah, and even look at the art above it. Look at just look at the art, look at the style. First of all, Jackie Orm's artistry for that time was absolutely gorgeous, beautiful.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Just absolutely phenomenal. But look at the depiction of the people. Look at how Black people look. Look how they dressed. But they're still addressing some of the exact same things. So you see this one panel on the left-hand side, and you see this well-dressed, almost like socialite type Black people. But on the right, you have this comic strip. You have Quincy at a bank, and he says, "Do you have a special checking account?" The guy says, "Sure." He says, "Are they special enough so I could write a check without putting any money in?" and basically, what is he dealing with? I don't have any money.
Right.
But without saying I don't have any money, I need a checking account, but I don't have anything to put in it. So Shear just did a remarkable job. He was genius in finding these funny, humorous ways of dealing with some of the lack and the poverty, but it wasn't overly in your face. It was a way for we got it. We would read it and be like, oh my goodness. I remember when I was a kid, my mom bought me this hat and it said, my take home pay won't take me home. And I'm like 12 years old. I didn't know what it meant, but it was a dope hat. And I remember wearing it. My uncle looked at me like, boy, you know what that hat mean? Do you know what you're wearing? I'm like, nah. And they would laugh at me. The OGs would laugh at me because I'm a young kid wearing my take home pay won't take me home. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get it until one day I was talking to one of the OGs like, man, basically what he's saying is your paycheck ain't enough to get you back to the crib.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the way that was Ted Shearer's approach. He would use those type of humorous techniques to deal with things we were literally dealing with. You know, I just got paid and I can't even pay my life. I just got paid and I still can't pay my bills. Oh, somebody about to say something?
No, I was just gonna say, man, just all this stuff. It's like just precursor to a lot of what we got to see, like a Good Times. When you think about Torchy and you think about like Girlfriends and things of that nature, and a center focus of a Black successful and different things that she would experience during life and things of that nature. So I just wonder, from a creative standpoint, did some of the creators take from this? Or did they take from something that inspired by those type of things?
You know what, man? It's funny you mentioned Good Times. That is a great. So Quincy was Good Times, and Torchy Brown was like Cosby.
Yeah,
and but I'll even go further, bro. It wasn't. It wasn't the James household Good Times. It was Winona and Penny, right? It was the single mom and the single child.
Yes.
That went to the other poor Black family, but that was their backbone at times. Like, because there was a little bit more structure there. The dad was there, the mom was there, the nuclear family existed. I'm a single mom trying to raise this daughter. You see what I'm saying? So Quincy was more of a clear reflection of Good Times, but not necessarily the James household, but actually Winona and Penny's household, who needed the community, right, as a way to say, hey, we need each other. We depend on each other. I may not have milk my car might be broke down today, but yours working. I need a ride. When my car fixed, I got you. You see what I'm saying? That's what Ted Shearer was bringing with Quincy. This idea of this ecosystem where everybody needed each other. And so instead of so we see little bro with no shoes. What are we gonna do about that? Now I started pulling what I thought was the most important. So if you want to add Quincy to your collection, I think these are the 4 books I would say are probably the most important books, based on my research. So the first book is actually a pocket-sized book. It's not a comic. So the first book came out in 1972. That was a pocket-sized book, very similar to a lot of these books from like very similar to like Ray Billingsley, Curtis book, Maury Turner's Wee Pals book. So it's kind of like in those small pocket-sized books. The next book came out in January 1973. So both of those books in the middle are comic books that came out in 73. So from my understanding, and I could be wrong, I put the second book next because it came out in January. So unless the other book came out the same month, that book should predate the third book. But those two are, and they're really not easy to find, especially in good condition. Especially, I believe, the third one, if I'm not mistaken. Now, that fourth book, I would say, if you want the most rare book, that's the book you want. That book came out, and I believe it was like a little insert in the Orlando Sentinel, if I'm not mistaken. And it is a hard. Matter of fact, there's one on eBay, and I think if you could pull it up, Matt, I think it's like 100. They want like 140.
Yeah, 150. Yeah,
150. Yeah, but it's very rare. It's a hard to find book, and it was a book that was to encourage kids to read. That was inserted in a newspaper. So that book was thrown away. People didn't read it. They tossed it away like they tossed away the coupons in there. So that's why that book is so hard to find. Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. So just let everybody know
that first Quincy is fair. It's fairly reasonable. On eBay, I see the first Quincy. It looks like a lot of two. It's Quincy and then Quincy World for $30 plus $6 shipping. So
that's not bad. That's not bad at all. No, that's not bad at all. So those are the 4 books I would say, you know, if you want to build a dope Quincy, and I would say go online and read the strips, man. That's what I would really encourage you to do. Go online and read the strips. The strips, man, I'm telling you, just Ted Shears, just not only is he a great art. Oh, and there are like I said, there are other characters that, like Patty, Joe, and Ginger that Jackie Orange created. We didn't talk about. Also, Billy Joe Jive. If people are familiar with Sesame Street, Ted Shear created Billy Joe Jive. As a matter of fact, you can buy Billy Joe Jive comic cartoon panels. What do you call them? Animation cells. You can buy those, and even some of the sketches. And Billy Joe Jive was somewhat similar to Quincy, but he was like a little young crime detective. So this is actually so there's a lot of other fascinating stories and creations that not only that Jackie Orms created, but also that Ted Shearer created. But today I just wanted to do a juxtaposition between 2 unique characters that both accomplished the same thing, but they did it with 2 unique different approaches. So check out Billy Joe Jive though. Billy Joe Jive is a real deal. Billy Joe Jive is a real deal. All right. And these are, now I own the first book, and this is a really good book. I actually used that book for a lot of my research. This book right here. So I would say that first one is not a bad book to get. This is a really good book to have. Great, has a lot of good illustrations in there and drawings and breakdowns. So I use this to do a lot of reading and for a lot of my research on this as well. But the other 2 books I found online, I really can't say much. I was just trying to find as many sources as I could for people if they want to learn more. But again, Jackie Orms is not a hard person to learn about. Ted Shearer is actually a lot harder to learn about. There's a lot of writings, a lot of articles, a lot of posts. There's a lot of YouTube documentaries. I say documentary, but like YouTube channels that's done little shows on her. So she's a very, very well documented figure in history, which says a lot considering as well documented as she is, to still be somewhat under the radar, in my opinion. She's still, a lot of people don't know about her. When people talk about her, like, okay, Jackie Orr, oh my goodness. But you want to talk about a trailblazer, oh my goodness. Like she's up there. I mean, to be honest, she's up there with Matt Baker. She's up there with A.C. Hollingsworth. She's up there with George Harriman. Like, if you really want to be honest, she's up there. I mean, and so I, to be able to have an opportunity to, not only share some of her work, but also kind of get into her mind and her approach and, her thinking, I can think of a better artist to really talk about. And I'm going to end with some quotes, man. So Jackie Orm, this is a really dope quote I like that spoke to her. She says, "I am anti-war and I am anti-everything that's smelly." And basically what she's saying is, if it look like a rat, smell like a rat, it's a rat, and I don't want nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? She believed in what Maya Angelou used to always say, when somebody show you who they are, believe them. And so she was very, very serious about taking stands and not dealing with, mediocrity, not dealing with people that was out here trying to put out, she was just a no nonsense individual, and just an amazing individual, amazing figure in history. Ted Shear, also in my opinion, an amazing artist. He says, "I'm sometimes tempted to do some preaching in the strip, but I always catch myself and realize I'm doing a humor strip and not an editorial strip. And what I love about this quote is that Ted understood that he really fought with himself. He really, really fought with himself. When you read and study him, he struggled. There was a lot of times he wanted to be like Jackie Orange. He wanted to be more in your face with things, but he realized that this is not an editorial. This is a humor strip, and there's a reason why he chose a 9-year-old instead of an adult. He wanted to not put everything on his sleeve. He wanted people to think critically. And although Jackie Orange wanted people to think critically as well, Jackie Orange's approach was, I shouldn't have to tell you. You should already see it. Ted is like, I obviously don't see it, so let me help you out. And I think those were the two approaches that they took. And with that said, that Bible.
As always, man, good stuff, Rico. Wonderful, man. I thoroughly enjoyed that, man. I thoroughly enjoyed that, man.
I appreciate it.
You know, that was just shocking. $16.
16,
Yeah.
and dude. It's
like, wow,
bro.
$16.
But okay, watch this though. I've seen a Harlem Youth Report. Watch this, y'all. Sell for $12. Missed it. $12. This is a book. I think the last sale was close to 3,000, 2,800,
Yeah.
3,000, something like that. I've seen that book sell for $12. So, you know, and anybody in their right mind knows that book is worth thousands on top of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So sometimes some things just and I've always said this about heritage, and I'll repeat this. There are a lot of historical artists and groundbreaking narratives that go through heritage that are part of the black narrative in terms of comics and collectibles that go under the radar. People aren't looking for, and it's modern, and it's even things in the past. Now there are certain things that we may not be privy to, but some are, and those things like George Harriman we talked about. I mean, we showed what his work is selling on Heritage. His stuff is demanding a high ticket. It's 50, 60, 70,000. I'm pretty sure if Jackie Orm's original art ever showed up on Heritage, it's gonna sell for a crazy ticket, because those people in those auctions, we may not be privy to it, but they know what they see. It's almost like when I was talking to Matt, when Matt showed me the Friday Foster original art that he purchased at Heroes Con. The first thing I did was I showed him some that recently sold on Heritage for like 10, 20 times what he paid. So obviously the person that sold to him had really no idea, you know, what he was holding. He could have sent those things to Heritage and made a lick. So, you know, so shout out to Matt to be able to know what he's looking for. And that's what we need to do. We need, you know, when we want to find these type of treasures, we need to first know what we're looking for. And so, so when we know what we're looking for, we can get great deals, because they're just trying to sell the book. I remember I remember when I first bought my Lobo. I shared this story with some of the fellas. This was years ago, probably about 2019, something like long time ago. I was at a local con, and I had been looking for the book. This was at a time where you couldn't even find that book on eBay. It was almost impossible to find that book on eBay. And so I remember I went to a local con, and I'm going in there, and as soon as I walk in the door, I see Lobo 1, Lobo 2. Like literally Lobo 1, Lobo 2. I don't know what a good price is, because I haven't seen them for sale at that time. I personally haven't seen them. I'm not saying they haven't sold, I just haven't seen one for sale. I don't know what a good price is, what a bad price is, but I was willing to pay because I wanted the books. The Lobo one was absolutely pristine. Maybe 7 or 8. 7 minimum without a press. Beautiful copy. The 2, when I looked at it, looked fine, but it was nowhere near like the number 1. So when I inquired about the books, his eyes just shot up. He was like, "You mean the Lobo 1, Lobo?" I said, "Yeah. Can I take a look at those books?" He's like, "Man, you're the first person." He said, "I've been to shows for years." He said, "You're the first person that's ever asked me about these books." I said, "Well, I want the books." So he had, I think, $500, I think, for I don't know. I think wherever he had, I can't remember the price, but I think for both he wanted about $500 or $600 for both. But so as he was as I was looking through the book, I pulled it out, looking at it, I started telling him, because I did so much research. I started talking about Lobo, talking about the character, telling the story. He had never read the book. He just had the book, just trying to sell the book. He was so fascinated at that time that I'm sharing all this information. Not only did he was like, you know what, man, not only have I never had anybody ask me about this book, I'm gonna sell these books for you. I think he said for like $300 for both. And then I think he said $350 for both. And then as he was giving me the books, he looked at number 2 very carefully. He said, you know what, I don't like the way number 2 looks. I'm gonna knock off $50. I'm gonna give you both for $300. So I ended up getting a Lobo 1, Lobo 2 at that time for $300. Highway robbery. But it's because I was looking for something that he had, that no one else was looking for, in terms of from his experience. So a lot of times, man, people will find people that says like that Harlem Youth Report that's over $12. When you look at that profile, because I looked at the profile, that was obviously somebody that goes to like pawn shops or flea markets or different places, buys things and flip them himself. That person had no idea what was in their possession, and whoever bought it absolutely knew what they got for $12. So hey, man,
wow,
it's good to know what we're looking for.
Yep. Hey, man, good stuff, Rico. Can't wait to see what you got. What's on the back end? I can't see what the finale is.
Oh, the finale gonna be
big. That was off the chain.
Well, I can't wait for the finale.
Finale gonna be big. Finale gonna be big, man. So,
all right, here we go. All right. Red, I know you got something over there, man, because you told me, so I'm gonna come to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So listen.
I want to hear this.
Yeah, you know how the comic game is and how speculation goes. So I picked up a book that I was super duper looking for from the first day it dropped. As soon as it dropped, it went from literally that day I remember $100 at my comic shop. By the time I got there, somebody got it. Then 2 weeks later, they had one for $500. Then it went up to $800. Then it went up to $1,000. Now it is back down to $200. So I got the variant cover Tosin.
Oh, 9.8. Okay, I see.
9.8. Not for that price tag. I was able to secure the book for $2 even cash.
Oh, that's a good deal.
You hear that? $2 even cash.
Wow, that's a good deal.
So I waited. Graded 9.8.
They give a round of applause for that.
Happy I got that. And I also picked this up from MegaCon out the dollar bin. Literally $1. Tom
Skinner. Yeah, that's a dope book, man. That's a really dope book,
man.
Oh, from Harlem, man. Yeah.
The buck bin.
Yeah. Yep. $1. Literally $1.
Wow. Dope book. Great pickup. I love that book.
Yep. So yeah. That's my haul, man. Didn't do too much on that one. At MegaCon, I was really there kind of seeing what was going on. Certain books I was looking for, they didn't have. I was looking for some AC Hollingworth, some Matt Baker, things of that nature. It's a little bit Matt Baker in there, but it was some books I already have.
Okay, good.
So yeah, outside of that, that was pretty much it for me for MegaCon, but I was super excited I was able to get that Tosin at a low price. I feel like at some point somebody is going to come through, write Tosin the way that we all desire, and then people are going to spin the block, and they're going to be looking back at that book and the other 8 cover as well. So
yeah. I like the first of all, that's my favorite cover as well, but I really like the the JUCO variant, because it matches the trading card. It matches the trading card. So I really like that cover also. So yeah.
Rico, you got anything over there, brother?
Nope.
Yeah, quiet week this week. Good. I'm quiet over here. Al, you got anything over there, brother?
Not that I feel like getting up and getting.
Show that X-Men cap again. There we go.
Round of applause. All right, so before we get out of here, we do want to touch on something. Captain America, Brave New World, debuted this week. If you follow us on Instagram, you would have saw that we would ask on Thursday night, I believe.
Thursday.
Yep. And my takeaway from it was a movie that Marvel came out with that was a 6.5. I mean, I'm not going to say it's put like this. It's one of these movies where if I didn't see it again, it wouldn't bother.
Right.
Agree. I will agree with that.
So I mean, it for me personally, they could. I know Rico differs, but for me, you could have just had Sidewinder as the main villain and left the other one out of there.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree because
no, I agree with that.
Because Marvel does this. They did it with Wakanda Forever, and they did it with Captain America. They bring in these huge characters, fan favorites that everybody wants, and they pit them against a Shuri, Sam Wilson, and it's not really a favorable outcome, and it does nothing for neither character. The Namor, it did nothing for Namor. It did nothing for Red Hawk. It did nothing for Shuri. It did nothing for Sam Wilson as Captain America. So if Marvel does, if y'all listening, stop doing that.
I've noticed that too, man. It seems like it's almost like it's the lazy way out, man, where they just throw in like you said, over the top villains, and then you trying to invest in the two people when you could have, like I said, you could have left the other villain. And I was telling Alan them this at dinner that night is that they could have put them in a whole different movie, and it would have, they could have been an Easter egg, or you could, something like that. The leader could have been an Easter egg. He could have popped up in another movie somewhere. Instead, you put him in a movie with a character. It's like, okay, well, yeah, this Captain America, man. So what is he doing in a Captain America movie? The two don't even go together. So it's I felt like it was a lot of holes in that movie.
Yeah, I'll say this. So I know I said that I felt as though. So for me, all right, Giancarlo Esposito is one of the greatest actors of all time. Let me just say this first. One of the greatest actors of all time. One of my favorite movies is Do the Right Thing, and I can watch that bugging out scene in the restaurant when he wants to see more black people in Sal's pizza shop.
Yeah.
I can watch that scene a zillion times, right? When I say that character, in my opinion, was unnecessary, it was because I felt as though, as amazing, again, as Giancarlo Esposito is as an actor, I don't think he fit that profile. I think that was a bad casting. I think he's a great actor because that character is a little bit more dynamic than what we saw, comic book wise. A lot stronger, a lot more dynamic. I felt as though it was a casting for butts and seats instead of a more better representation of how the character can go. Let me give you an example. How are you going to struggle with Giancarlo Esposito, who's probably pushing 70, but for some odd reason you don't really have that same. You're doing better with Red Hulk. I'm just keeping.
I thought about that. You know what, Rico? It's funny you bring it up, man, because I was cleaning up yesterday and I thought about that. I said, now how am I supposed to believe this man is going tit for tat with Red Hulk with no super soldier serum, no sword of what's the sword of He-Man?
The super serum, whatever it is.
No, what's that sword of He-Man? What's that sword? The sword of eternity.
I don't even know.
She just said sword omens from the Thunder.
Power Rangers, the Infinity Stone. He out there straight naked fighting this man, hand to hand combat, Arms Fitness Center settings. And I'm supposed to believe that this man Can go. I just, you know, I was like, Mom need to be. I was sitting there saying to myself, Mom need to be ashamed of himself.
And he almost got smoked too.
and listen, Giancarlo Esposito is 66 years old, and let me be very, very clear. He looks it. Let's not be mistaken. He looks 66. If you told me he was 66, I'm like, no way. No, he looks a whole 66. And so the problem, and he stabbed Captain America like 4 times.
Yeah, he stabbed him in the chest. That was, you know what? It's funny you bring that up, man.
Like
By the way, anybody who has not seen this, please leave out.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah. Spoiler alert. Spoiler. But my thing is, so when I said he was unnecessary, it wasn't that it couldn't have worked. It meant the character and the way he was portrayed didn't make any sense to me, because you've casted an old man who, I mean, this Captain America, before then, Captain America is literally beating up 4 or 5 people by himself, and then he gets to a 66-year-old man
in a Spanish cathedral.
Yes, I mean, just going buck. Okay, he got his shield. Don't matter. He ain't got no super serum. He's sitting there. He doing it's fists. It's fists, and you letting this man give you the business, literally, and you get to Red Hulk. And you battling him better than the old man.
Like Larry said in the chat, with the suit on. Bro, that's what I said. I said, man, Marvel, y'all kind of...
No. I get he had the suit. What I'm saying is, let's look at it this way. You're fighting an old man. You, without the suit, have been fighting people in the movie and giving them the business in groups. Groups of people coming at you with no suit, with no suit on. And you and the Falcon with no suit on is giving them hands. Now it's just you and an old man. You don't need no suit. You need the suit with Red Hulk. You don't need no suit with Giancarlo Esposito. Now, if they had Michael Jai White playing Sidewinder, okay, makes sense. You get stabbed 12 more times. I get it. So my thing, man, is it just. Look, I get it. It's TV, it's movies. It's not supposed to make sense. But it's just so much of that. And the CGI was horrible. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yes, that was one of my notes.
The one scene where old boy was standing, the serpent dude. I was like, was it a cutout? You know what I'm talking about?
When they were talking, he was.
Yeah,
I know what Marvel's doing. I'm gonna address it after the show. I'm not gonna say it out loud. I know what they're doing. 1-866-801-8255. That's exactly what they're doing. If you know, you know.
Dude, it looked.
I couldn't believe they put him out there like that, man. I said when I really sat down and had a day or two to really digest that movie, I said, what did I just watch? What did I see there?
Yeah,
I said, I can't believe I watched this man go mano y mano.
It made no sense.
Red Hulk. The strongest one. Red Hulk.
Yeah, bro, it made no sense, man. It made no sense.
And then, like you said, I thought I was the only person that caught that when he got stabbed. And then he went back to what's his name? He walking around like ain't nothing wrong. I said, wait a minute, man, the man just got stabbed in the chest.
Yeah,
got stabbed and almost got smoked when he whipped.
Dude, he got stabbed 4 times. Oh, boy, like, you all right? Oh, I'm gonna be all right. And he just put a shirt on, walk out the door.
They left, and then they left the house.
Bro, ain't put no Neosporin,
no peroxide,
no Robitussin, nothing on there.
Mercurochrome.
You know that stuff, the orange. You know that stuff when we were kids and you scrape your leg up, man. And your parents go to that cupboard, they get that thing, they got to break, pop, and then they put that orange shit on you. They light your ass up. Yeah,
he just switched.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's
he just. And listen. I gave it a 6, so I'm not far from Matt. Matt gave it a 6.5. I gave it a 6. So I didn't.
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
And the reason why I gave it a 6 is because I said, backstage, I said giving it less than a 6 I thought would be mean. I felt like it wouldn't be fair to give it a 5 or less. I wouldn't give it, but I also felt like it is not worth higher than a 6 in my opinion. Like I wouldn't give it a 6.1. Because I would not watch this again.
Yeah, it's a one-time must see. One-time
Yeah,
must
I
see, and
would
that's
not-
it.
I'll watch. Bro, if Winter Soldier come on right now,
I'll
just
stop you watching
random,
right
I'll be watching it right now. I'll be watching it right now. So for me, I'm not gonna trash the movie. I'm not trashing the movie. I think it was entertaining. I thought it was I don't think it was hard. I don't think it was horrible.
I had to stop what I was doing and jumping on because I saw the movie yesterday. Fuck Universal because this shit, Red Hawk shouldn't have even been in the movie. Okay, we needed a Hulk movie to introduce the Red Hawk, but the fact that they had to basically use.
Say it again, Sean.
We needed a Hulk movie to introduce Red Hulk. So the fact that it's the same issue that we had with Thor Ragnarok. They used Planet Hulk in that movie, and it took away from the Hulk story. It's same thing here, same issue. So it's like, I hate the fact that this whole movie wasn't even about Captain America. It was about Harrison Ford, General Thunderbolt Ross, and the whole Red Hulk thing. And the leader's plan was to aggravate him and get him to turn to the Hulk. Captain America was third fiddle in the movie.
Thank you, Puff.
I couldn't have said it any better.
And this is the thing.
Hold on, where's it at? Let me give him a ride.
Not only was it not only was it a Hulk movie, to be honest, it wasn't even original. They basically took the Winter Soldier script and they said, because basically what Bucky was to Steve Rogers was what Isaiah Bradley was to Sam Wilson. Literally, almost the exact same concept. So it lacked originality, and the story to me just like now the flight scene, not the fight scenes, the flight scenes in the air, those were dope. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought those were dope. I like
when
to
he
me,
was surfing the missile and all of that.
Bro. Now the scenes when he's in the air and he has a Superman moment where he's just kind of gliding backwards. I'm like, what are we doing? That don't even make no sense. What are we doing? Like he just kind of standing still in the air, just kind of floating back.
You know what I told the guy at dinner. I told the guys, I said, for me personally, they should just drop that on Disney Plus. And you probably
that's what a lot of people.
That should have been a Disney Plus. No, I'm agreeing with Larry. Larry said it wasn't the best movie. It was. Look,
it wasn't the worst. Yeah.
By no stretch.
Yeah, it was middle of the road.
By no stretch of the
imagination,
by no stretch of the imagination was it the worst movie. I wouldn't even say it was like. That's why I gave it a 6. Look, Troy, this is a Marvel movie.
I think everybody's in agreement.
I gave it a 6 too.
Yeah, it's a 6.
And I'll say this: Isaiah Bradley should have knocked Sam the fuck out because he like, you brought me to the fucking White House and this shit. I said I didn't want to go. You brought me there, and then this shit happened. I'm in jail. I'm like, man, fuck you, man. I'm going back home. I'm staying the fuck home.
And you know what? I told Al this in the theater. We were sitting in the theater. I said, Al, he still got the hypnosis on him. They ain't solved that problem.
Yeah, he didn't solve it.
I said,
right.
Oh yeah,
he gonna play a basketball game. That he gonna come on. He gonna talk to him. Do what I said. And he's gonna go do it.
Yeah.
Oh, and that toupee was nasty work that they put on my man's too.
Oh man,
disgusting.
Especially
he went from short hair to a mini fro. I was like, what the hell?
And he looking like that avatar that Sean got on right there. Look at that. I was looking.
Yeah, that jump was like Krusty. That was Krusty the Clown. That jump was
man.
so
They made
bad.
they made a mark.
Yeah,
of that.
it was like, so. I mean, it's just it's just so much wrong with it. But again, it's not the worst Marvel movie. I'm not crapping on the movie at all.
It's not.
It's not the worst. But I felt like, I felt like you could have, again, when I said Sidewinders are necessary, get rid of, like I'm with Pup, get rid of Red Hulk, and then cast a better Sidewinder, and now that could be a dope villain. And
Yeah, you could have saved Esposito. You actually could have saved him for a better villain.
Yeah.
I mean, the person.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about the character. I'm talking about the person.
Right,
himself.
I agree because he wasn't convincing to me, bro. Maybe it's just me, but I'm watching those fights. I'm like, bro, Steve. I'm like, Sam.
You know what that casting was?
I'm
You know
like,
what that
Sam,
casting was?
what are we doing to get butts in seats?
Rico, you know what that casting was? That casting was a case of, he's a big name. Let's put him in this movie.
Get butts in seats, bro. That's a button. Look, years ago, so I started out a film major. And so we used to have to study films and stuff like that. And I remember way back in the day, this movie came out, Demolition Man. And Wesley Snipes said something very important. He was like, I'm only in this movie because I'm hot right now. Because that was when Wesley was really, really hot. And he said, I'm hot right now. And they know a lot of people that look like me are not going to come in here and watch. Who the other guys? Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah, but I forgot who they were going to cast to play Simon Phoenix. It was somebody that said they were going to cast to do Simon Phoenix.
Yeah.
But then they went and got Wesley.
Right. Exactly. And so they did that purposely to get butts in seats. And Giancarlo Esposito is a well-recognized figure. One of the greatest actors of this generation. One of the great, and I love him. So, and that, matter of fact, is probably him the reason why I'm giving it a 6 and not lower. But I just felt like bad casting, not convincing, horrible CGI. I mean, you work on this movie for like this long? I see kids on TikTok do AI stuff that look better than what I saw in that movie.
I seen a Mortal Kombat trailer. Remember the Mortal Kombat trailer that came out like 15 years ago? That was cooked up.
Yeah,
that was better than what we saw.
And I agree with. I was gonna say I agree with the people. The person said it was obvious they tried to jam a bunch of rewrites into. See, and that was the problem with the Marvels. The problem with the Marvels that I could literally watch that movie and tell it was pieced together. Like you could look at that movie and tell like they were jamming things in, and they put this here and they put that there because there was no follow through. There was no payoff here. There was no payoff for that. It was like so. Now this one, the editing in this one was better than the Marvels, which means that even though they were probably jamming rewrites in, at least they did a better job with the editing to make it look a little bit more seamless. Right, to look it more, appear more seamless. But there was nothing about that. Like at the end of the movie, and then the ink. I'm not gonna tell you what the ink.
It was cheeks. The dialogue was intriguing, but it was terrible.
The end credit was like a waste of time. A waste of time. Like you wait. Think about it. This might be. Correct me if I'm wrong. Besides the Deadpool Wolverine movie, which is basically, Ryan Reynolds movie that he does for Marvels. It's not really Marvels. It's Ryan Reynolds movie that he's doing for Marvel. So let's put that to the side. That's not really Marvel. It's Marvel. It's Ryan Reynolds' Marvel movie. Isn't this the first movie that's come out in like about a year?
Longer than that.
Yeah, it's
so
been a while. Yeah,
this is what we waited on for over a year. The fact that everybody in here, I think the highest I heard, maybe somebody gave it a 7. I think the average is a 6.5 on the stage. We waited over a year and a half, 2 years for this. I'm like, just put it on Disney Plus.
I think number one, I remember I was gonna say when Giancarlo Esposito got announced that he was gonna have a role in Marvel. For a brief moment, people were talking about him being Professor X. I would have been for that. That'd have been okay. But I do think they did a good job of like just doing the political spy thing. But that was also my knock on it. They kind of rushed it. I was like, if y'all was gonna do it, take it all the way. And I'm with Sean here. Hulk shouldn't have been in the Red Hulk shouldn't have been in the movie. Shouldn't have been in the movie at all.
This was Harrison Ford's movie. I'm being real with you. This was Harrison Ford's movie. I don't know if they want to, if they say we want to send Harrison Ford off and give him a Marvel movie, bring him into the MCU. The man's like 112 years old, and they said, look, just bring him in, do it, give him a send off. I don't know, but this was, Did you see the scene when Red Hulk turns back into? Did y'all have to? Did you have to show him looking like that?
Bro was looking
Bro,
crazy.
that
Bro
man,
was-
he looked like he was about to drop dead right there.
Dude, bro was looking like Gandhi after like the 5th fast.
Yo, he was looking crazy.
He was looking crazy.
And I'll be honest, man, I'm kind of scared now with the rumors of Denzel being in Black Panther 3. Rico got me like, all right, is this about to be another? They gonna spin us on whatever T'Challa that situation, but we gonna have Denzel in the movie, so that's gonna bring people out. So, man, it got me leery
Look,
now. It got me real leery now.
I'll just say this, man. I try. I don't want to be those guys that are not giving Marvel a chance to do whatever they need to do, because sometimes I think you have a lot of people that just crap on it because they just want to crap on it, right? You know what I mean? I don't ever want to be that guy, but I got eyes and I got ears, and I have to be just completely honest. This is not what you put out when fans are waiting close to 2 years for a Marvel, because I understand why the hiatus. I understand. I get it. It makes perfect sense to me. You know, people don't believe in hero fatigue. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. But what people don't understand is that, you know, if you want to bring more people into the hobby and bring back excitement, then you got this is just I didn't see any payoff. There was zero payoff for me waiting, and all you gave me was what you've been giving me, but you just did it very safely. And I think this was a very, very safe movie. I think that's, if I could give it a one word, I would say it's very safe. Just a safe movie. You know, we don't want to.
I've seen that floating around too. Safe.
Okay, I don't want to rock. I don't want to piss nobody off. We don't want to do this. We want to do that. We're just gonna make it safe, and hopefully people will like it. I think it'll do okay. I think it'll do. I think it'll do okay.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. When Sam was giving Red Hulk that speech about Betty and all that stuff, I just wanted Red Hulk to knock him the fuck out, because I was like, he should not be the one giving him the speech. I was waiting for Betty to just pop up and give the speech to calm him down. But for it to be Sam, I was like, Red Hulk could just smacked him like, nah, you ain't Betty, get out of here.
Yeah.
That just irritated me and then they waited until the very end to bring her out when he's already behind bars.
Why?
She should have been out there when it was scrapping in the. I actually thought that's what was gonna happen because they was in it with it.
Out there in the blossom field.
That's why I was like, bro, okay, so you know, like I said, you know, all right, Marv, we'll give you this one.
Look, man, look.
Not screw up Thunderbolts.
I think Thunderbolts is gonna be okay. I do. I think it's gonna be fun. Whatever that, I think, because it looks fun. I think it's gonna be fun.
What do y'all think of that Bucky cameo?
Waste of time. But I know what it was. It was a setup. It was a
setup for Thunderbolts.
Yeah, Thunderbolts. Yeah. In the trailer, he mentions that he's the that's when they in the
run for Congress or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and he said that nobody's gonna come. The Avengers ain't coming to save and all this stuff. That's what. Yeah.
I just want to give my 2 cents real quick. So I agree with everything that everybody said. I thought it was a middle of the road movie. I told Matt this while we were watching the movie, what I had problems with, CGI was terrible in certain parts of that movie. Like when he transformed into the Red Hulk for the first time and he was just standing there, I was like, what is this? Like, was this done on Adobe Workshop or something? Like, I mean, for real, it just looked. And it was spots like. Now I will say the scene.
Corel draw, bro. If you know.
The scene after that where Hulk jumped like 18 miles to get to the Washington Monument. Now that was okay.
Yeah, that was kind of good.
You know, the CGI was spotty. Now I ain't gonna lie, I like Giancarlo. That fight scene at the beginning, even though that a belief was disbelief or was suspended because of what got stabbed like 38 times, but I thought that would have actually been a great tone for the movie moving forward. And I agree with Matt. Like, They should have just set the movie around the Serpent Society, and I think that would have actually been a more grounded
That would have made more
movie.
sense. That would make more
That
sense.
would have been comparable to Winter Soldier. Now,
I
one
agree.
thing that I did not like, and I talked to Larry and Matt about this, I'm trying to figure out why they bring adamantium into the whole equation and stuff.
Now, if you remind me, if I hop in here, just and I pass right back to you. For me, we all, you know, they told on themselves a little bit, because what was the original name of the movie? New World Order.
World Order, right?
New World Order. Yeah.
Now what is it? Brave New World.
Brave New World.
Now you're talking about and the Mania. Okay, so what was the New World Order going to be then? What was that going to be? Who was that going to be? Because surely you ain't going to tell me the Red Hulk is the New World Order.
No.
I mean, so that's why I said they lost the plot. Al, I'm sorry, brother.
No, you good, but that kind of threw me, because it's like, okay, so we've already been introduced to Wolverine in Deadpool, and from what rumors state that he's supposed to be a version of Wolverine moving forward. So why would you bring up the fact that the adamantium exists, and then bring it up in a way to where the Celestial story arc, which they dropped for like what the Eternals came out like 5-6 years ago or something. So now you double back and say, okay, well, the reason why the Celestial is still there is because we found a new metal called adamantium. So like, okay, so you name drop adamantium several times in that movie. Does that mean that this is going to segue into what's the name of the project? That Weapon X?
Weapon X. Weapon X. Yeah.
So what is your intentions? It was like, and I'm like you, Rico, I'm not gonna speak evil of the movie because it had its moments, you know.
Yeah, it had its moments.
And I feel like personally it had a lot more potential than it did.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end of the day, it was an okay movie. But like I said in our video that I posted, it's one of those movies that I will watch probably 7-8 months from now, and you know, like, well, let me see if I missed something.
You ain't missed nothing.
But other than that,
you probably missed another stabbing from Sam by Giancarlo. You're like, oh, he got stabbed 4 more times.
Yeah, but like you said though, I mean, the bar, in my opinion, people always talk about Endgame and Infinity War, but the bar to me is always Winter Soldier.
That is, I don't care. Look, I've had debates. We can agree to disagree. Captain America: Winter Soldier is the best Marvel film. Period. In my
all
opinion.
time.
Period.
In my opinion.
Period. In my personal opinion.
And it's not in my opinion, it's not even close. It's not even close. That movie, the fight scenes are dang near flawless. I'm not saying they're flawless, but they're dang near flawless. Like that movie.
Well, see, but you know what it is, Rico? It's a case of, and me and Larry talked about this when we were sitting there. It's at least when you have street level people that is relatable. You can look at Captain America, but fighting Winter Soldier. Right. You look at him fighting Sidewinder.
Right.
So what is Hulk doing dropping? I mean, come on, man. That's like press down, you uppercut down and start. That's what that was. Uppercut down and start. Toasty. That's what that was. I mean, it just, for me, they just threw that in there. Like Brad said, the put a body in there to garner up attention for folks to come look at that movie, and that was they just being cheap, man.
And where was Bruce? Was he supposed to be still in space?
You know what? Now
that's another question I had in the movie.
I thought about now Bruce. If you're gonna bring Red Hulk in, which again was unnecessary, but let's say you do, Bruce made more sense than Bucky.
Don't you think they would have brought him in to consult this man on how to stop this or something?
Hey man, what's in
these bottles? Wait a minute. Don't you think?
What's in these bottles? What's this? Aspirin, white Viagra? What's in here?
Don't you think? Not only that, Rico. Now you got the leader running around with this gamma stuff. Don't you? We know they tied to the hip in the comic book. So how? So what? Bro, I was like, man, it was so many questions. I was sitting there
and that's why I said I won't give it lower than a 6, but I cannot give it higher than a 6.
Sean hit it right on the head. They should have just what they did. I'll even take a step further. What Sean said, what they scared to do is to get Hulk his own movie where they could do all this stuff. So they just piecing out Hulk and everybody. They horning him out of everybody else's movie.
I think that's more of Universal though, man, because Universal been really kind of been a thorn in Marvel's side. That's the reason why we saw the Hulk in the Thor movie. Because from what I understand, they can't do a standalone movie with the Hulk because Universal won't let them do it. You know, but yeah, it sucks because I would think, you know, unless the Hulk is in space somewhere chilling in Asgard, he should have been there fighting real Hulk.
No, didn't we see the Hulk in the Daredevil in the She-Hulk movie?
That was in the
TV show She-Hulk TV show.
Yeah, he was in the show. Yeah.
No, he was in the show.
Oh, he was in the show. He was in the show.
Yeah, him and Amadeus Cho.
Yeah, he was training. Remember, he trained She-Hulk in the TV show.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's like, "Hey, here's my son." He introduced his son at the cookout.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bro, Marvel, bro. Bro, listen, man. Leave Marvel, sell Blade to Image. Just sell Blade to Image. Matter of fact, sell Blade to Zombie Love Studios with Rodney Barnes. Just sell Blade to Rodney Barnes and let Rodney Barnes cook and do what he do. Cause I don't trust Marvel. Bro. I don't want to be no hater.
Just think about if they would have came out with whatever was already not there. You already after watching that, you already know it was a load of shit.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. I ain't ran it in a long time. I ain't trying to start running.
Bro.
I mean, and y'all know that people want to see Blade because how they nutted up over Wesley Snipes and Deadpool.
Bro, listen, y'all, listen. My wife would attest to this. So my wife is not a comic book person, but she loves hero movies. She loves hero shows. She just loves this stuff. So I be honest, I didn't even want to see Captain America, but she's like, "We're gonna see Captain America." I was like, "Sure, we're gonna see Captain America." So when they saw Captain America again, I gave it a 6. It's okay. But when you think about Blade, like they've had 4 or 5 rewrites, 4 or 5 directors, 4 or 5 writers. They've been,
hogwash,
bro. And in my opinion, Blade is one of the easiest.
Bro, just go back and do what you did the first go round, bro.
Look at what Wesley Snipes did.
He gave me the blueprint.
He gave you the blueprint.
And tell you what, how about let's just do a remake of the first one? Just do a remake of the first one and call it. How about that?
Dude, when we were in the theater, bro, it was I'm just gonna say it like this, y'all, to the community. Very well diverse theater. Looked like a melting pot. When Wesley Snipes showed up in that Deadpool movie, everybody, every race, every color, every nationality jumped up and was screaming at the top. I'm turning around like, and my wife is like, screaming at the top of their lungs. Like literally screaming at the top of their lungs. It's easy. I don't understand. It's so easy.
Like you say, man, that whole, I ain't mean to cut y'all, Rico. I'm sorry, but
nah, you good, man.
Like man, like to say, man, it's just print money. If they get a good script,
money.
If they get a good script, and I will go as far as they would probably need Wesley Snipes as an advisor because he made those first 2 movies, not third movie,
dude.
But the first 2 movies, man,
watch
classic.
this. I've been saying this for the longest. Do Old Man Blade with Wesley Snipes like you did Old Man Logan.
Yeah.
Pass them out.
Bro, that. And then watch this. At the end credit, Old Man Blade. He's dead. Old Man Blade dead. He done got sidewinder and he gone. He did. You have maybe like some type of portal come up that maybe Doctor Strange put up or something, and you have my man Mahershala Ali walk. All you see is the black boots, the cape, just walk in. And the camera zooms up, and he takes off the glasses, In the end credit. Don't say nothing. Just in the end credit. Just end it. The fans gonna get what they want. The fans won't. Whereas it's nice to have a set. If you can bring Harrison Ford in at 112 years old.
Yep.
If you can bring in Giancarlo Esposito, who's 70, and he stabbed Sam Wilson 22 and a half times. You mean to tell me you can't do an old man Blade?
And you bring it back Robert Downey Jr.
And
you
Denzel.
And Denzel. Yeah.
Come on, man. And it's printing money. Y'all don't like
That's the cash, man.
Disney don't want to win, bro. They don't want to win. It's like they wake up in the morning and they get in the meeting, they get their coffee and donuts, and they say, "Okay, y'all, how can we ruin how can we ruin the brand today?"
You got these 19-year-olds with Dunkin' Donut coffee, and they coming in there. They don't know what the hell going on, and then they just let's try this. Why
Ain't read a comic book or nothing.
Most time they ain't read that. They just went to the Marvel wiki.
It's like it's like we used to say back in the day when we first started doing the show. I mean, you got all of the source material you need. There's no excuse. It's no excuse. That's one thing I say about what's my man that doing Superman, Al? What's my man that
James Gunn?
James Gunn. James Gunn goes and gets the source material.
But he's a comic head. He's a comic
head.
This
is what I'm saying. You got to have the source material. Blade, like you said, Blade is easy, bro. I told you, I give you a head start. Just remake the first. Like I said, remake the first one. Bro. They literally that's it. That's the story. Remake the first one.
Dude, have y'all ever watched? First of all, Blade 1 and 2.
I can watch them just the same way I watch Winter Soldier. I said I watch Blade.
Now Blade 3, that's like Eternal.
I'm not. No, I ain't watching that.
But Blade,
I ain't watching no poodle with vampire.
Blade 1 and 2 are instant classics. But watch this though. I can watch Blade today, and bro, they did the special effects, man.
Was
on like a what's the thing? Atari system.
Yeah.
And the movie still hits today. It's
especially
still
Blade 2. Especially Blade 2 with Del Toro doing
man, bro. It still hits. It still hits today. So just like you said, bro, I agree. Just get Blade 1, remake it, same story. Now, Mahershala Ali is about to turn 60.
Yeah. People he got on now, man.
It's been a minute, bro.
Since Luke Cage.
Bro, since he put the stage, did he got on stage, put the hat on?
Hey, I said again, it's been 10 years since Luke Cage.
Yeah, man. So, dude, my thing is, can he do Blade for the next 5-10 years? I don't know, man. I mean, but good. But I guess they figured Giancarlo Esposito, they can have him stab Captain America 22 and a half times. So I guess. Yeah. He was just Shawshank. He was Shawshank.
But that brings up the argument that if you can have these folks in a movie, why not Wesley Snipes? But
I think they don't like Wesley. I think Wesley don't because Wesley be trolling. Wesley be trolling. And then Ryan Reynolds helped him troll when he said there's only gonna be one Blade.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, the theater lost it. Bro, I'm sitting there like I'm looking around. I'm like, and I'm gonna say this too. Let me tell you another reason why Blade is easy. Everybody loves Blade. Black, white, yellow, green, purple, gay, straight, yellow, apple, orange, unicorn. Don't matter. You know why? He's a vampire. That's all he's a vampire.
Yep.
They don't look at race. He's a vampire. And he's
like
cool.
They can fight.
He can fight. Dope music in the background when he's fighting. Cool gadgets. Got great one-liners. This is people don't go there thinking, it's a vampire movie. That's it. It's a vampire movie. That's all they see. They see a vampire. They don't see nothing else. They see a dope vampire. That's why it's easy money. It's easy money. It's easy money.
Yep, because some MF was like skate uphill.
We should see, man. We should
Swimming
see.
upstream. Swimming upstream.
All right. Well, look here. We're gonna be back next week. More Black History. Also in March, we'll be doing one of our music shows. We'll be bringing that back as well. We're gonna do a couple of things different a little bit this year, do different theme stuff, but still pop culture related. So we'll be doing that this year. Al, go ahead, brother.
This
Definitely
show
do that.
The show
I
was
did
sponsored by Al's Hat, y'all. Okay.
Oh, that's on the docket. We're gonna say that. Don't worry about it, Al. That's on the docket. I already know what you're gonna say. That's on the docket. Well, I tell you to write it down so we don't forget it.
Yeah, we definitely do that show, Brad.
Yeah,
For real.
that'll be a fun one.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's why I said that'll be a fun one. So we'll do that, man. Rico, once again, brother, thank you so much, man. Thank you for taking out the time to put that presentation together, man. That takes a lot of work. And brother,
man,
the information is out of this world. For those who are coming in late, make sure you go back and check out the presentation, man.
Check the
Wonderful
replay.
information there. Hit that like button, subscribe, share. Make sure that you go follow Heroes After Dark. Head over there, support the brothers. Black Comic Lord, thanks for coming through. Larry, good to see you, my friend. Puff, thanks for hopping on while you was on the port lift. Appreciate it, bro.
Appreciate you both.
Yep. And for Al, Rico, Brad, everybody, we want to say thank you for tuning in. Want to wish you all a good night. Y'all be safe. Don't do nothing we wouldn't do. And that's anything. And let me find my thing so I can get out of here. So we can get out of here. I got all this stuff in the back, but I got it. We out of here. Peace. Marvel, don't try that shit again with y'all pull with her. I'm just gonna let y'all know this. I'm gonna let you off this time. We get off this time. I'm gonna let you know one thing. Don't pull that shit again. I was nice tonight. All right.
You were backstage.
I was very nice tonight. I'm just gonna let y'all know I was real nice. Don't try that shit again.
Yes.
Don't fuck up Thunderbolt. My girl is back in the movie. The ghost is back. I'm happy. I'm a happy man. You know, don't fuck this up now. I'm just letting you know. All right. Yeah.